together, keep it together. Lord, hold it together. And as you can see, he held it together.
In Paulding County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Now, no deaths or serious injuries have been reported so far in Paulding County, but at least 40 people are killed in the outbreak of strong storms and tornadoes around the Midwest and Southeast from over the weekend. It is 45 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the strong breezes are going to continue throughout the day, the high barely making it much above 60 degrees. Tonight's low could dip back into the 30s for some of us. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Now, in the aftermath of these storms, do not be duped by bogus contractors. That is the advice from Paulding County Sheriff Ashley Henson.
We've got a mess. We don't have time to deal with folks that are getting scammed, so please be smart. If you think it's a scam, it is a scam.
He urges us never to give workers money before they finish a job. The Better Business Bureau also advising to call the insurance company before any major housework and avoid workers who use high-pressure tactics. And one other note about the storm cleanup, some U-Haul locations around the country and around the Southeast and Midwest are offering free storage to storm victims this morning. And several locations in Georgia are among the 360 facilities offering the 30-day deal. It's part of an expanded program that was first launched in Texas and Oklahoma. Other stories we're watching this morning, a warning from the Better Business Bureau with tax season in full swing.
The Better Business Bureau says they've been getting numerous complaints about text messages that appear to be from the IRS. The text says you have $1,400 coming your way. It's all part of the Economic Impact Payment Rebate. The text has a link, but don't click it. The Better Business Bureau says it leads to a fake but very real-looking IRS website. The scam artists are trying to steal your personal and financial information.
And WSB Sabrina Cupid notes that the IRS says anyone eligible for the $1,400 stimulus check will receive it by mail, and the IRS will never ask for your personal information through text, email, or phone call. Well, for the first time in a decade, the Georgia Bulldogs appear on our March Madness brackets.
The Dogs are the number 9 seed in the Midwest Regional and will play number 8 Gonzaga in the opening round on Thursday in Wichita. The winner of that game will likely face top seed Houston in the second round. Georgia's in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015 and plays a Gonzaga team that is a regular in the tournament. Georgia will look to win its first tournament game since 2002. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Now, tip-off Thursday scheduled for 4:35. Our coverage begins just after 4 here on your home of the Dogs. Checking the lines this morning, UGA opens as a 6.5-point underdog against Gonzaga. Wayfair chooses Atlanta for its second large-format physical store in the U.S.
The online furniture retailer opened its first physical large-format store in a Chicago suburb and says its Atlanta location will feature 150,000 square feet of space. Wayfair says its new store will offer an immersive experience and that larger items not available for customers to take home right away can be delivered quickly from the retailer's McDonough Fulfillment Center. The new Wayfair store will be located within the district at Howell Mill and is slated to open in the spring of next year. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. And we start with triple team traffic. Here's Smiling Mark McKay.
Been watching a slowdown all morning long. This morning, Dred into Canton, and it will continue through late morning, midday till crews wrap up their work. They started early on 575 southbound at Riverstone Parkway. Got the right lane knocked out in those through lanes and a left lane at the exit ramp, so things are crowding in on 575 south. As you approach exit 20, you could use Canton Highway to work your way south out of Ball Ground this morning. Doing much better on 575 through Woodstock. Tapping the brakes now at Highway 92. Right lane still crowded through Marietta. I-75 south. Still finding a little bit of a crowd leaving Elford into Roswell from Holcomb Bridge, or down to Holcomb Bridge from Haynesbridge Road. And much improved on I-85 through Duluth and Norcross. Biggest crowd we're finding now is Highway 316 to Pleasant Hill Road. What's left over on 285? Andrew Seco.
Earlier trouble has cleared. All lanes back open. 285 north, the outer loop getting past Lawrenceville Highway. The brake light's still stretching you back towards Glenwood Road, so allow for some extra time as you're leaving Panthersville. Elsewhere, everything working well around Atlanta's bypass. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, breezy and rather cool, high 63, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping to the mid-30s to low 40s tomorrow morning. Sunshine tomorrow afternoon, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 47, afternoon highs in the mid-70s.
41 degrees right now in Alpharetta, 40 in Douglasville, 45 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Top of the morning to you, friends. This St. Patrick's Day edition of the Mark Aram Show. Welcome. We got a lot to talk about over the next 3 hours. Erick Erickson's going to join us live 10:35, talking all things politique with Erick Erickson. President Trump, President Putin set to speak tomorrow. We'll preview that high-powered conversation. Plus, we are currently getting a living history lesson on the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Why all of a sudden are we talking about the Aliens Act of 1798? We'll go in depth. First off, thanks to Shelley Winter filling in for me on Friday. I apologize, friends. I had to go to a funeral. I'll tell you more about that. There's some interesting stuff that came out of that funeral. But I want to start off with this weekend and the severe weather. And I didn't grow up with the type of severe weather that we have here in Metro Atlanta. Where I grew up, it was blizzards, right? That was the freezing ice and icy roads and blizzards. I did not grow up in an area that was known for tornadic activity or hurricanes. So when I moved down to Atlanta in 96, it kind of freaked me out. I had no knowledge of tornadoes and hurricanes. So, I am always on edge when it comes to severe weather, and I certainly was this weekend. And Saturday night, so, the storms, as you well know, folks, hope you all survived and did okay, were scheduled to come in late Saturday night. And to me, that's an added layer of scariness, a nighttime possible tornado. I mean, they're scary enough during the day, but, we were told, 11 p.m., midnight on Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So Maya and I were like, all right, well, let's go to bed early because we're going to have to wake up. And then, like, who wants to be on shifts? Like, do you want to sleep first? And then I'll sleep first. So we were, and bottom line is we really couldn't sleep at all. We tried to take little naps. We prepped our home. We pulled everything in from inside. But it was just a miserable night Saturday night. Now, thankfully, we dodged a bullet at our house. And I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Christina Edwards, but I think here in Metro Atlanta, we kind of dodged a bullet because these were really deadly tornadoes to our west, right?
Indeed, yes, in the Alabama area and Alabama, the southeast the suburbs of Birmingham.
Yeah.
They were absolutely hit with a tornado. There was a tornado that went through Talladega County. So I was worried about the Anniston, Oxford area. That's where a lot of people go when you're traveling to Talladega or
Talladega.
Yes. If you're going to Talladega or if you're going to Birmingham, you stop off in Anniston. And so there was a tornado that came right up through there. And so the storms that come from Alabama come here.
Yeah.
And that's why I constantly have to monitor what's coming out of the state of Alabama because they eventually become our storms.
Were they were obviously more severe to our west, right? Because we had a number of fatalities with these storms that came through.
So I'm not going to compare who had more severe weather than others because here in Metro Atlanta we did have a tornado on the ground in Paulding County. All that to say though, with Alabama, there's pockets where people live in mobile homes, so their area of shelter is going to have to be a local tornado shelter. Here in Metro Atlanta, a lot more of our homes have basements, or if they don't have basements, then they have a fortified center,
closet
or something like that. So with regards to the fatalities in Alabama versus no fatalities here
just
in our
more
metro
vulnerable
area,
population.
I think it's a more vulnerable population where those tornadoes hit in Alabama.
So, by the way, I was listening. You did a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
I heard Jared Yamamoto on.
He did fantastic.
I was like, holy cow!
Yes.
But it was nail biting because we had some really bad stuff. I'm assuming Paulding County that was hit the hardest. And
yes, City of Dallas.
City of Dallas. So what kind of damage did we see over the weekend?
Obviously, lots of trees down.
Yeah.
At least 10 trees. At least 10 homes with a tree on the home.
Okay.
And one of the more fascinating things that I saw over the weekend was there is a sculpture that stands right outside of the Verizon, right at the corner of 278 and 61. The sculpture's name is Big Mike, the Muffler Man.
Okay.
And I'll pop that up there.
Oh, he is big.
So he's big. He's 20 feet tall. And so shout out to this is Katie Jones in the Dallas area. He sent me a picture of Big Mike. He took he tumbled. Because
let me just interrupt for a second. If you're watching it live on the live video stream at WSBradio.com, you could see Christina Edwards, our beloved meteorologist, sharing Big Mike, and he tumbled. But as far as fatality, serious injuries, nothing like that.
There was one injury.
Okay.
I can't speak to whether or not it was serious or not.
Sure.
But no casualties. I'll
All
say
right.
there were no casualties here
That's
in the
great.
metro region. Yes.
All right. So aside from that area, the Dallas area, I noticed you were talking about some severe storms up in the Ellijay area, right? In northwest Georgia,
Yes.
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge,
Yeah.
Fannin County.
How did they fare?
So there was a tornado warning issued for that area. Have not seen any damage assessments for the Fannin County region. In addition, there were numerous trees down in Carroll County near Carrollton.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it looks like University of West Georgia was spared. But the Bremen area also got hit with some trees down in that region, just about 3 miles north of I-20.
Rough stuff on the west side. As far as the trajectory of the severe weather, did it throw you any curveballs, or did it kind of take the path that you guys expected?
The curveball was as it was coming in, there were a couple of storms that looked really suspicious. So I
Okay.
had to keep my eye on the Doppler radar velocity and keep my eye on what we call the correlation coefficient, translating that into some of these things are not like the other things. Some of these things are tornado debris. So monitoring 3 different types of radar data at all times while also tracking the storm
Sure.
as it comes through. But what's the reason why I think Metro Atlanta, especially east of Georgia 400, was relatively spared from all this is that the line broke in 2. And so the line further south of here from LaGrange to Macon, that started to strengthen. That started to coalesce. And when you have storms to the south of us strengthening and coalescing like that, that will rob a lot of our energy up here further north. So it was still strong thunderstorms that came through. We still had some trees come down here inside the city of Atlanta boundaries. But that is highly likely due what we call gradient winds, where it's not raining yet, but the storm system itself is pulling in some very strong winds,
Yeah.
and those winds can knock down trees and power lines even without a single drop of rain.
Certainly got a lot of those.
So that was happening, but the strongest storms were well south.
As far as confirmed tornadoes in Georgia, do we have that confirmation? Do we have to wait? Do we have to see how strong they are?
We know the Paulding County is a high-end EF1. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but at least 110 mile per hour winds associated with it. I believe it was on the ground for 10 miles. Again, I haven't committed
Sure.
that
No,
detail
that's
to
fine.
memory. In fact, give me a moment and I'll pull up my email with the notes on it. But that is the one tornado that we have confirmed.
Okay.
I know the National Weather Service will continue to survey to see if there's any other damage that
Are
had occurred.
we in the clear now when it comes to, or are we hitting the heavy season when it comes to severe weather?
Great question. Let me break it down into 2 parts.
Yeah.
So first answer is we're in the clear for the next 5 to 10 days.
Okay.
However, spring is the peak of severe weather
Gotcha.
season here in Metro Atlanta. March, especially April. April is the month in which we see the most tornadoes, and then it tapers off by the time we get to Mother's Day in May.
All right.
So we're at the beginning of severe weather season.
So bottom line is you'll be sleep deprived until we get to Mother's Day.
I signed off around. When did I sign off? Around 7 a.m.
Yeah.
on Sunday, and I left here around 8 a.m. And I was like, Mother Nature, can you give me a month? I need 1 month
Take
to
it off.
recover. Can you please give
Yeah, I
me a
mean,
break?
you did. I was listening all night because I couldn't sleep. I was so Deborah. You grew up in Wisconsin. We were numb to blizzards and winter weather. Do the severe southern storms freak you out as much as they do me?
We have tornadoes in Wisconsin, not to the amount that you have in Georgia, but I've been into tornadoes and I get a little PTSD whenever I hear potential tornadoes. So I sleep in the basement with the blankets and a go kit ready to go because I am freaked out by tornadoes.
All right, so all right, a little humble brag. Deborah's like, yeah, I grew up with tornadoes. So I didn't, and so Maya did a great job. She prepped our basement. She was like, oh, I used to have a helmet when I was a raft guide in whatever, not Tallapoosa, but Tallulah Falls. And I'm like, it's in the storage unit. I don't have my helmet. I'm like, oh, we'll survive. But she did it. But thankfully, knock on wood, nothing bad at my house. Longoria survived. Deborah survived. And big thanks again to WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
And real quick, it was a high-end EF1 with maximum winds of 110 miles per hour, and it was on the ground for around 10 miles.
Yeah, great yeoman's job over the weekend. Metro Atlanta, North Georgia, we thank you. You can now go nap, my friend. There you go. Hopefully everyone survived. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. No fatalities in Georgia. That's the headline. But as Christina mentioned, E1. You're an E1. We got an E1 here in Georgia. All right, quick break. When we come back, getting a living history lesson. What exactly is the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 and why are we talking about it today in 2025?
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
A popular retirement myth is that once you retire, taxes go away. Not so much. We're here with Aaron Vincent of the Vincent Financial Group, and let's talk about the importance of having a tax strategy, not just now, but into and through retirement.
Taxes will be your biggest expense in retirement. I love analogies. So whenever I was a kid, I got in trouble sometimes. When I reached a certain age, my parents gave me the option. They said, hey, you can either choose to get the spanking or you can choose to be grounded for the next week. The choice was mine. Do I want spanking? Like you're going to choose the pain of right now? Ugh. Or you're going to choose the purgatory of pain of just the over and over again. Every day you wake up, your friends are playing outside, and you get to sit in your room and look out the window and watch them play because you chose the grounding because you didn't want the upfront pain. I mean, that's a tough choice to make. That's basically, in a nutshell, Mark, when you say, well, what can you do? What are some tax strategies? I'm here to tell you right now, we don't have a magic wand, and we can't just say, hey, come work with us, and no longer do you pay taxes anymore. That's just not real. There are definitely strategies that will help mitigate the amount of taxes that you'll pay. We can calculate how much you'll pay over your retirement, and we can determine what that tax bill will be. That's the grounding. That's the default path. That's the one that if you don't have a plan for your money, you fall into the government's plan for your money, and that is that you choose the grounding. Who wants to feel pain now? Who's going to choose pain? I'll raise my hand and say, yeah, I want the spanking. If you don't even know it's an option, you're definitely not choosing it. Well, so the point is, there are strategies. There are things that you can do to mitigate those taxes that you're going to pay over a 30 or 40-year period of time, but you got to choose the spanking.
The choice is yours. Pay a little more now or a lot later. Call the team at the Vincent Financial Group and take advantage of their no-cost, no-obligation tax map. 770-280-1488. That's 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. A 401k assessment does not constitute a comprehensive retirement plan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322. 9:20 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking delays downtown on this Monday morning. Hello and good morning, Mike Shields.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Still crowded on the connector northbound as you leave 166 in the airport, making your way past I-20 through the Grady Curve. Connector southbound on and off the brakes from 17th Street, getting past William Street. And heads up in Peachtree Corner as roadwork set up where only the right lane is open right now. Peachtree Industrial Boulevard northbound at Holcomb Bridge Road. You can use Beaufort Highway. This report is brought to you by Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zinchi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zinchi Sushi today at your local Publix markets right by the seafood counter. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
I'll be speaking to President Putin on Tuesday, and a lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end.
Really big headline there. That's President Trump on board Air Force One. The president expect to speak with the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, tomorrow. We'll preview what that conversation might entail, and might we see an end of the Russia-Ukraine war. Obviously, we're going to be all over that story throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Welcome back to the St. Paddy's Day edition of the Mark Arum Show. Longoria not wearing green, blue. I can't see him. Judd, not
green
Judd,
somewhere.
All right,
I'm sure.
Judd is where I just posted a picture. Usually, every year on St. Patrick's Day, Judd, Ashley Frasca, and myself take a St. Patty's Day picture, all dressed in green. We've been doing it for like 15 years, but Ashley's off today, so maybe I'll have Deborah Photoshop. Well, you and I will take a picture, Judd.
We will,
and we'll have Deborah Photoshop Ashley. And I posted the picture of us on St. Patty's Day from 10 years ago up on my Instagram story.
Oof.
If you want to, we look like babies.
I know.
Like babies. So Instagram, it's at Mark Arum, MarkArum. All right, joining us on the show, correspondent from the White House, John Decker. John, good morning, my friend. I think the last time I talked about or thought about the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 was in history class in high school. Why am I now talking about that on March 17, 2025?
Well, you know about this act because that is the law that the president has used to deport a significant number of alleged Venezuelan gang members. This is a centuries-old wartime law, and it allows the president, according to the White House, to take the action that he did, to target members of a violent Venezuelan gang whose members have reached the U.S. in recent years. The White House says 137 gang members were deported over the weekend to El Salvador, and this is despite a federal judge saying, do not do this. Do not do this until I have a hearing concerning this issue. But by the time the judge had made that particular ruling, it was too late. Those individuals were already in international airspace, and now they are in custody of El Salvador.
So this law goes back to 1798. Do we know anything about the history of this law, and has it been used by any president since then?
This has not been used by any president before for this particular issue. It was first passed in 1798. It's seldom been used. The law allows the president during wartime to deport citizens of countries considered an enemy of the U.S. The last time it was invoked was World War II as the legal authority for interning non-citizens of Japanese, German, and Italian descent.
Interesting. So, you mentioned wartime right now. President Trump and his lawyers saying that we are currently in a wartime. That's why they're able to use that. Is that the argument?
Well, they've declared war on this particular Venezuelan gang, and that is the authority that they say is necessary. Now, the judge says that he wants to issue a temporary restraining order. So I don't think we're going to see any type of deportations like the kind that we saw over the weekend, at least over the next 14 days. He has a temporary restraining order that he has imposed. It will be in effect for 14 days. It will preserve the status quo until this particular federal judge can hear arguments more fully concerning this issue.
Interesting. Now, I'm not a legal scholar or a historian, but I would imagine that the judges, I'm using plural because I think multiple will probably hear this case, are going to need to determine whether the president, declaring war on a drug cartel is the same what they expected in that 1798 law when we're in actual wartime. That's probably the big sticking point here, right?
Well, that's right. I am a lawyer, as you know, Mark. The Justice Department has asked the federal appeals court to lift this federal district court judge's restraining order. So we could see action, at least in the federal courts, over the course of the next 2 weeks concerning the action that the president has taken. In the meantime, a TRO, a temporary restraining order, has been put in place. That's the reason why I say I don't think we're going to see these kinds of deportations of these federal gang members happen over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Fascinating story and a little bit of a history lesson. John Decker. John, as always, appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks so much, Mark. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
I picked up a little precedent. Apparently, I think Harry S. Truman used this after World War II in 1948. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. But since we're talking about the formation of America, how about one of our founding fathers? Deborah, you can own a piece of history from the legendary Paul Revere.
Here's a little story I've got to tell. If you're a lover of American history, you can own a coffee pot that once belonged to Paul Revere. It's over 250 years old, sterling silver, and it's up for auction. Now, this has been sold in the past, and the last price tag was over $500,000. Paul Revere, mostly known for his midnight ride, warning the colonials about the British troops, but he was also a very accomplished silversmith. So this is something he actually made. No word on if he ever brewed pumpkin spice lattes, though.
I'm gonna say no to that, Deborah. That's pretty cool. A little piece of American history. A coffee pot not only owned by Paul Revere, but made by the silversmith Paul Revere. If you buy that, you don't use it though, right? You don't come down for your Sunday coffee and, hey, honey, give me the Paul Revere coffee pot. We're gonna make it in there. That's one of the cooler things about growing up in New England is you have all of that history when it comes to the formation of America. If you've never been, folks, go to Boston. They have the Paul Revere tour. You can go where he went. Really cool stuff. And no tornadoes. No tornadoes in the Northeast. All right, quick break. When we come back, President Trump set to speak to President Vladimir Putin. We've got movement in the Middle East, and we're going to hammer our top local stories. Again, social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Motorcycle riders like you are a different breed. You don't just ride your bike, you're obsessed. So if someone causes you to lay your bike down, you need a different kind of attorney, one that understands bikers and their rights. Eric Von Hessler here for my friends at Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group, motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, and your case resolved. Trust is everything, and results matter. Free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? It's Mark Arum, and I can. With Xfinity, you can too. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract, and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get free premium 5G phones. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with store-to-bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes and fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus, one unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 Plus, one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds. Actual savings vary.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. Our top story this half hour as the bell rings this morning on Wall Street. Any second now, investors buckling up for what could be another turbulent week for the U.S. economy. Going over this morning's retail sales report showing sales rose just 0.2%, less than analysts predicted. Reporter Rhiannon Alley says it comes as the Treasury Secretary admits there are no guarantees that there won't be a recession in the U.S.
But he insists he is not worried about the markets after stocks plunged last week. Bessent told NBC, we are going to have transition, not a crisis.
Yeah, she says it's linked to jitters from President Trump's tariffs on U.S. trade partners like Mexico and Canada and the threat of even more. And checking the markets this morning as the bell rings, and all markets are down as we open. Not way down as we saw sometime last week. No, the Dow is down about 60 points, NASDAQ down about 30, S&P down slightly. We'll check on those numbers through the morning. It is 45 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the winds will continue to gust today around the metro area, the high sticking in the low 60s. No rain in the forecast for the first part of this week. Could see the 30s tonight before warming up Tuesday. Atlanta's most accurate, dependable forecast is coming up. Speaking of those rains, as the cleanup continues this morning around metro Atlanta from the weekend storms, one of the hardest hit areas is Paulding County, where a confirmed strong EF1 tornado touchdown. Now a warning from the county's sheriff.
Wherever residents are cleaning up after a natural disaster, storm chasers are there too. That's what consumer experts call the shady contractors who often show up unannounced, taking advantage of residents' desire for quick repairs to bilk them out of their money. Maybe it's too good to be true prices and timelines or soliciting payment up front. Paulding County Sheriff Ashley Henson warns.
Don't get scammed. Do not give anybody any money before they do any work. Okay? Please listen to me and hear me. Do not get scammed.
The Better Business Bureau advises to call your insurance company first and resist high-pressure sales. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Watching this morning's investigation in DeKalb County, where firefighters raced to put out a fire at a shopping center on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. High winds fanned the flames at the commercial building, and it happened near Tilly Mill Road. One of the heavily damaged businesses appears to be a liquor store, which was reduced to a pile of rubble. No injuries are reported, though. No word yet on a cause. Georgia men's basketball team prepares to play in the team's first NCAA tournament game in a decade. Dogs will face Gonzaga on Thursday as an 8-9 matchup, and Dogs open as 6.5-point underdogs. Winner will likely face 1 seed Houston. Our pregame coverage begins just after 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon. The game scheduled to tip off at 4:35 here on your home of the Dogs. Meanwhile, as you're filling out those brackets this week, just remember you may be helping to cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars.
Around 40% of fans admitted they've called out sick to watch the games. Action Network also says fans spend around 2.4 hours per day checking scores.
Seems about right. Jesse Mitchell reports the study finds that amounts to more than $20 billion and lost productivity for the country. It is 9:33. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start in the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
And Judd, new trouble in Roswell. Live look at the jam cam. Stalled out minivan. 400 southbound right at Northridge Road, exit 6. That's in the second left lane. Already sluggish as you leave Holcomb Bridge Road, exit 7. So watch out for those delays to increase. And see the delays in Peachtree Corners with roadwork set up now. Peachtree Industrial Boulevard northbound at Holcomb Bridge Road in the left lanes, leaving only the right lane open. If you want a wide way around it, you can always use Buford Highway as an alternate. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, breezy and rather cool, high 63, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping to the mid-30s to low 40s tomorrow morning. Sunshine tomorrow afternoon, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 47, afternoon highs in the mid-70s.
44 degrees right now in Decula, 45 in Stockbridge, 45 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10, breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
When the weather is at its worst?
Potential area of rotation. That is to the northwest of Acworth. That is right on top of I-75.
We're at our best.
Emergency management centers throughout the metro, they are now open.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store.
Trees and power lines down near the Pickett's Mill battlefield site.
With your severe weather station, 95.5 WSB.
I'll be speaking to President Putin on Tuesday.
President Trump on Air Force One yesterday, set to speak with President Putin tomorrow. We'll preview that very important conversation next on the Mark Arum Show. Amazing deals like the one I'm about to tell you don't come along every day, guys. Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. This is unbelievable. You can now get a free furnace, gratis, no charge, with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. That's unbelievable. Get your free consultation by going to reliableair.com, reliableair.com, and next day installation's guaranteed, or they pay you $500. What an amazing deal. Free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. Free consultation. Go to reliableair.com. And if it's not installed the next day, Reliable will pay you $500. Reliable, amazing. Been serving the greater Atlanta area since 1978, and they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee that they stand behind. Plus, amazing 24/7 customer service. Always here for you. Always reliable. ReliableAir.com.
So, a guy knocks on your door, shows you a shingle that fell off your roof, and then tells you that your roof needs replacing? Sound familiar? Did he also ask for the name of your insurance company? Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and I want to tell you what you should do the next time someone like this knocks on your door. Smile nicely, say no thank you, close the door, and call Exovations. Why? Because too many times roofers like this end up getting your home insurance policy canceled. At Exovations, we'll first determine if you actually need a new roof. Then we'll discuss all of the roof system and shingle options. And we'll make sure that your roof is installed on time, on budget, and without all the stress caused by Mr. Knock on my front door roofing guy. Schedule a free consultation today at exovations.com. That's EXOVATIONS.com.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
9:37 on this pretty chilly St. Paddy's Day. Welcome back, friends. Mark, Aram, and crew with you till noon. Spoiler alert, Deborah's got some amazing tickets to give away in the 11 o'clock hour. Counting Crows tickets. Remember them? They're coming to town. We'll have those to give away. Going to update the top local stories. Eric Erickson joins us live in 1 hour to discuss all things politique. We're going to get to that meeting tomorrow. I don't know if it's a meeting, but it's a conversation. Probably on the the red hotline phone in the Oval Office from President Trump and the red phone in the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin. Those two are going to talk tomorrow. We're going to preview that in just a second. But again, I missed Friday's show. Thanks again for Shelley Winter for filling in for me. I had to go to a funeral. And joining us live in studio from our sister station, KISS 104.1, longtime friend of the show, Miss Jordan. Jordan, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I am blessed. I have a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about. First off, we're going to start with this. You didn't notice that I shaved.
I did. I'm actually sitting here looking at you, and I was like, wait, there's something different.
You were the biggest proponent of me keeping the beard.
Yes. So what happened?
Well, I had to go to the funeral. Let me shave. Let me, I want to look presentable, and so I shaved for the funeral. And it's ironic that I did, because hadn't I shaved, what happened at the funeral wouldn't have happened. That's where I need your expertise here.
Okay.
So my buddy B. Jones, Barry Jones, his father passed away, Robert Jones, Smoke, as his friends called him. And the funeral was Friday morning at Friendship Baptist Church on Walnut Street, not too far from Morris Brown. And the only other white dude in attendance was the organist, believe it or not. So I was there. I mean, what a great life Robert Jones led. Just an amazing life of service. Great dude. I feel so bad for Barry and his family. But after the service, we were offered to come, and I hope I'm saying the repast.
A repast,
okay.
yes.
So have you ever been to a repast at an African-American
No, I have
church?
not, no.
So basically, because I was hungry by the end of the service,
Yes.
and they knew I was going to be hungry, so they had like this catering hall, and they had a kitchen there at the church, and it was delicious, baked chicken and rice, and it was great. So I'm sitting with my buddy Doug and Steve and a couple of other friends of Barry Jones, and there were 2 people that presided over the ceremony. One was the pastor of the church, and apparently Barry Jones's dad, who passed away, was friends with a bishop from a church in New Jersey.
Okay.
And he came down. He had the full bishop outfit on.
That's big.
Yeah, it was big. So we're at the repast, and I'm sitting down. Again, there were only 2 white guys at the service. It was me and the organist. And the organist crushed it. He was really good.
Okay.
Because he's up on the pew, and you could see him playing and
Yes.
everything. And the bishop comes over to me, And he's like, "Hey, you have a second? I just want to." And I was like, "Oh, does he listen to the show? Like,
does he know who I am?
Does he know who I am?" He goes, "I just want to say I was honored to be up there. You were hammering that organ. You did such a good job."
No.
Yeah.
He confused you guys.
Well, yes, he did. But if hadn't I shaved, he wouldn't have confused because I would have had the beard and be like, "Oh, the organist has no beard, but but I'd shaved." And so in that spot, what do I do, Jordan? You've got this bishop. I mean, he's got the robes on and the hat, and and very, this is big time. What do I do when he congratulates me on my amazing performance on the organ?
Well, you say thank you. However, I am Mark Aram, and I have a show on WSB Radio, and you just tell them exactly who you are, because at that point, you don't know what kind of connections or relationships could be built from that
Interesting.
conversation.
What do you think I did, Longoria?
You lied.
I just
agreed and
said,
Bishop.
Thank
you so much.
That's exactly. I was like, Bishop, I'm honored that you are. I was humbled to be on there with you, a man of your stature.
Oh my gosh, Mark.
Because I didn't see this coming, so I had to roll off the cuff. But I didn't want to embarrass him,
right?
And be like, "No, I'm the other white dude."
And that's what I was gonna say. Considering the circumstances, I understand why you went the direction that you did.
So he comes over. We have this pleasant exchange. I was like, "No, thank you. It was an honor. I was happy to play at Mr. Jones's funeral." But anyway, because I guess the organist works for the church, but this guy's from New Jersey, didn't know.
So he didn't know.
And there was no pre-show meeting between the two of them. So anyway, he walks up and there's two women sitting next to me, and they're like, because they just heard me, and the lady's like, "Wait, you were sitting behind me at the service. You ran up there and played the organ?" And my buddy Doug's like, "No, he's just white. he's just white."
I'm sorry.
So
Mark.
it all ties together. Had I not shaved, which you didn't want me to.
Exactly. I told you to keep the beard. I loved it.
I wouldn't have had this,
Luckily, he didn't ask you to go play something. Like, hey, go back up there and play something.
So that was going to be my next question. Did he offer you to come and play?
No.
Else?
I mean, again, it just happened so fast. I didn't want to embarrass the bishop and be like, "Sorry, sir.
You're wrong." But we're all human and we make mistakes. So
I took the clarinet for 3 weeks in third grade. That's the extent of my
Me too.
musical. Did you really?
And I was like, it's a wrap.
Yeah. No, my music teacher told me it's a wrap. He was like, "You have no musical talent." But who knew 35 years later I'd be playing the organ at the Friendship Baptist Church.
There you go.
And enjoying the repass.
Yeah.
The repass.
Repass.
All right.
Repass, yes.
Jordan, thanks. All right. Again, I'll grow the beard back.
Please.
You were the ardent supporter of the beard.
I loved it.
Longoria, I look weird now. I look like a child.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't
either.
I don't like it.
Longoria.
He's had it for like a month.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But I wanted to pay respects. I wanted to be clean shaven and pay. That's not a Jewish thing or anything where you have to shave at a funeral. But I was like, I just want to do it. All right.
They would have accepted you either way, Mark.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
All right, Jordan, tell the folks where you can find you on social media.
You can find me MISS Jordan_radio on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
So good to see you, my friend.
You as well.
All
Thank
right, there you go. The repass.
Yeah.
Delicious, by
Repass.
the way. Wait, could I have gone up for seconds?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
dag-nabbit.
Yes.
Well, I'm the organist. I could have had fourths.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I want something to go. I play the organ.
Yes.
Dag nabbit. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to preview that big phone call, we think, between President Trump, President Putin. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
Everyone has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence, unless it's on the football field where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
As a mother, I worry about my family's safety every day. But when horrible things happen, a robbery during a trip to the store, a company pumping chemicals into our backyard, or a truck driver asleep at the wheel, our loved ones deserve protection. But now, Georgia legislators are pushing a tort reform giveaway that would make it harder for families like yours to hold companies accountable when they cause harm. This bill is designed to make insurance companies even richer at a time when they are already making billions in record profits. Our families deserve better. Don't give insurance companies even more power to delay and deny claims. We need to ensure that those who harm us are held responsible. Join us and stand up for Georgia families. Visit forgeorgia.org to tell your legislators to vote no on the tort reform giveaway. Let's protect our right to seek justice.
Access to Justice for Georgia paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Forgeorgia.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers are asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
9:48 on the Mark Arum Show, checking the Monday morning ride around town on this St. Patty's Day. Are you wearing green this morning, Mike Shields? I didn't see.
Not wearing green.
Yeah,
I can't wear green with the green screen, but unfortunately, we're seeing red right now on the downtown connector, Mark, with a crash 7585 northbound approaching I-20. At least one lane blocked. It looks like multiple lanes blocked, and you're coming to a standstill, a brake light starting at 166. Think about Metropolitan Parkway, Highway 41, or I-285 as alternates. And better news in Roswell, stalled van cleared 400 southbound approaching North Ridge Road. All lanes are back open. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Take Me to Church, the title of the song, ironically, since I was just talking about what went down at church on Friday. But that's not why I'm playing it. Singer-songwriter Hozier. Hozier? Turns 35 today. I pronounced that name right? Hozier? Hozier?
Hosier.
Hosier. All right. I do know the song. I did not know the artist. Take Me to Church. Happy 35th birthday to Hosier. Hosier here on the Mark Arum Show. All right. I want to update what's going on with President Trump and President Putin. Again, we might have a conversation between the two tomorrow. Covering the story from Kyiv, it's Holly Williams from CBS Radio. What about the efforts to get this talk together to reach a ceasefire deal?
Ukrainians in general at this point don't have very much trust for Vladimir Putin. Remember, he invaded this country in 2014, then he agreed to a ceasefire, and then he invaded again in 2022. On top of that, I think that some people in this country fear that President Trump may agree to ceasefire terms proposed by Vladimir Putin that are simply unacceptable to Ukraine.
Obviously, there's still a lot of moving parts here, right? But the call is scheduled to happen tomorrow in an attempt to broker a ceasefire in Ukraine. Mr. Trump said they would discuss, quote, land, power plants, and divvying up certain assets. The American president revealed that a lot of work had been done over the weekend, but that an agreement was in the balance. Russia, meanwhile, said it wanted ironclad guarantees that Ukraine would be neutral in the future and would not join NATO. So I'm not a negotiator, right? I negotiate with friends and families, but that's not my job. But if Vladimir Putin agrees to terms that Donald Trump puts forward as president of the United States, he'd also need to get Vladimir Zelensky and the Ukrainians to get on board with that. And, land and power plants, I don't know what exactly it will be the talking points tomorrow in that conversation, but I can't imagine that Ukraine would be happy to give up a chunk of land to Russia, right? That would basically be rewarding Russia for invading them and starting this war. So I can't imagine President Zelensky and Ukrainian government going, yeah, we're cool. Take 20% of our lands to the east. Don't even worry about it, Vlad. You got it. That's fine. Just don't go any further. I just imagine if we were invaded. I know this is a stretch, but let's just say that we live in a different world and Canada invades us, starts a war with us. I guess it's not too out of the realm of possibility these days.
It's not too far off.
So let's just say hypothetically Canada invades us and they take over Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. And then Mexico comes in to negotiate a peace deal. Like, hey guys, chill. Let's have a ceasefire. Let's end this war. You know what? Canada, you just keep Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. You're in there already. As United States citizens, right? We'd be like, where are we going to get our maple syrup from? Where are we going to get our lobster from? Where are we? You could have New Hampshire. There's not really much going on there.
Where are you going to get married at?
Right? Why? We would be up in arms. Be like, no. Why are we giving Canada a prize for starting this war? That's just the way I think Ukrainians would be talking about when it comes to giving up all this land that Russia has taken over since the start of the war. I wouldn't sign on to that. I mean, I want an end of the war, but no, we want our land back, man. You started this unjust, illegal war, and now you want 20% of our land in the East? No, heck no. NATO or not. I don't understand. Russia, explain this to me. Like, the biggest thing that Russia fears is Ukraine joining NATO. Right? They don't want Ukraine in NATO at all. Why wouldn't you want Ukraine in NATO? Oh, NATO's creeping farther to the east. Well, if you're not going to invade them, it's no big deal. Heck, Russia, go join NATO. Right? Well, how come no one's proposing that? Russia, we're going to let you and Ukraine in NATO so you stop messing with each other. That would end things, right? Why doesn't Russia want to join NATO? Then there'd be no problem. Then you don't have to worry. You're a NATO nation too, so you don't have to worry about NATO troops if you're in NATO. Just don't start ish, and you'll be fine. Dividing up certain assets. That's the nebulous comment there from President Trump. I have no idea what that means. Now, there had been talk that Vladimir Putin was like, hey, I got rare minerals too, Trump. Let's go. I got better rare minerals. I got the world's best rare minerals. Ukraine's not the only country with rare minerals. We got them too. Maybe that has to do with dividing up certain assets, or maybe it's the $300 billion in Russian money that's been frozen right now because of the sanctions. Now that I said it out loud, I can totally see President Trump going, all right, I'm going to unfreeze $300 billion, but I want $100 billion for us. Right? Can you not imagine? Oh, you want $300 billion frozen? All right, well, we got to get a finder's fee, Vlad. I want $100 billion for the U.S., for our efforts, for our troubles. That's got to be as soon as I said it out loud, dividing up certain assets, it's that frozen $300 billion that's just sitting there. The oligarchs are losing their mind. Imagine you were a Russian oligarch and you have $50 billion of your money frozen because of sanctions. You can't get to it. I get mad when eBay takes 5 days to pay me out when I sell a baseball card. I'm like, come on, I want my $23. What's the holdup, eBay? Imagine having $50 billion just sitting frozen. All right, I think I just called it. The dividing up of assets. I bet part of the negotiation is one of the carrots that we're waving to the oligarchs and to Vladimir Putin is we're going to release the $300 billion. But the United States, Donald Trump is like, no, we need a piece of that. You want your money? All right, fine. We're gonna have a little bit. How about some good news economically? Talking about egg prices. They are dropping faster than the stock market, Deborah.
Well, I have not baked anything this year, and that's because of the price of eggs. But according to the Department of Agriculture, it looks like egg prices are finally starting to come down. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the average cost of a dozen eggs now under $5, which is still kind of high to the bakers out there, but its peak was over $9. However, Americans used to paying a little bit closer to $2, so still got a ways to go.
I'm going to take credit for that, for the drop. So from $9 a carton to $5 a carton, right? In a matter of 10 days. What has happened in that 10 days? They couldn't have grown enough hens to lay more eggs, or it was my idea for everyone to buy powdered eggs. I heard from 4 listeners that bought powder eggs online on Amazon after I talked about it. And I'm sure it spread virally. Some guy in Marietta calls his cousin in Wichita. I was like, dude, Aaron just said buy powdered eggs. You don't have to worry about it. And then that guy called his friend in Whitefish, Montana. Hey, Aaron said buy powdered eggs. I totally upended the supply and demand issue. I am taking full credit for the $4 a carton egg drop because of my ingenious plan that it was like Nixon taking us off the gold standard. Aaron took us off the fresh egg standard. Powdered eggs for everybody. And look at that. Bam. In a matter of days, egg prices dropped $4 a carton. You're welcome, America. You're welcome. Powdered eggs are the future. All right, Sabrina, by the way, the markets are up today. I mentioned the markets. Dow's up 217. Hoo-ha! Good news there. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. We'll come back. Big local story I want to talk about. That's next on The Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
This is Scott Slade. If you think you've had storm damage, get in touch with My Roofer, FGA Roofing. They can respond within 24 hours to assess roof damage and assist in giving you what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their Cumming, Roswell, or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
Mom and Dad seemed different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 35% off, plus kid sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Save on your favorite brands at Whole Foods Market. Get 30% off all Siete items with Prime through March 18th. From taco seasoning to Mexican wedding cookies, stock your pantry with the best. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy two, get two free and pay nothing until 2027. Offer ending soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Well, you just heard Mark Arum tell you that the markets are way up. They're in positive territory. One day they're up, the next day they're down. Wall Street's digesting more economic news this week, including the latest retail sales numbers out today, showing slower growth last month. It's a trend that WSB consumer expert Clark Howard is noticing.
Consumers are already moving from do to don't. Consumers are smart. People realize that we are going to be in a slowing economy likely.
And Clark says the latest tariff talk is also undermining confidence for investors, businesses, and economists as the market enters correction territory. But he warns against making any knee-jerk moves with your 401k. He says the market disruptions are temporary. And let's talk about your pocketbook. Did you go to the grocery store this weekend? Did you notice the price of eggs? They're down a little bit, not a whole lot, but some. The average wholesale price nationwide fell to $4.15 a dozen. That is down $2.70, believe it or not, in just a week's time. Prices were, though, over $8 for a dozen at the end of last month, so they're heading in the right direction. All right, your weather for today. Sunny skies this afternoon, cooler with highs around 63, but it's going to be windy. Some of those winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. And there's a warning about scam artists in Paulding County this morning following those weekend storms. Paulding County Sheriff Ashley Henson, he took to social media over the weekend to warn storm victims against falling victim to scammers.
Do not get scammed, okay? We've got a mess. We don't have time to deal with folks that are getting scammed, so please be smart. If you think it's a scam, it is a scam.
The Better Business Bureau says to be suspicious of too good to be true repair timelines and prices, and do not pay anybody before the work is done. U-Haul is offering free storage to storm victims across the Southeast.
The storage truck and trailer rental company says storm victims are eligible for 30 days of free storage at 366 U-Haul facilities. The company says the offer includes dozens of stores in Georgia and expands on a program that was launched first in Texas and Oklahoma. The other states where the offer is available are Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Kentucky, North and South Carolina, and Tennessee. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
And if you plan to be out in the yard this week cleaning up after the storms and those limbs that have fallen, well, beware of snakes. It is snake season now here in Georgia. This is when snakes become more active as they emerge from hibernation and they're looking for food, mates, and suitable habitats. Georgia is home, by the way, to 6 species of venomous snakes, including the copperhead, cottonmouth, the diamondback rattlesnake, too, and the eastern coral snake. Hundreds of people are bitten by venomous snakes each year here in Georgia. President Trump will talk with Russian President Putin tomorrow as efforts continue to end the war in Ukraine. The president disclosed the upcoming conversation to reporters while flying from Florida to Washington on Air Force One last night, while the Kremlin confirmed Putin's participation in that talk this morning. The president said that land and power plants are part of the conversation around ending the war in Ukraine, which began when Russia invaded 3 years ago. All right, let's take a look at your money. The market's right now in the green. The Dow's up 132 at 41,621. NASDAQ is also up in positive territory, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Let's go to the WSB 24-hour traffic center and say good morning to Andrew Seco in the traffic center.
Good morning, Sabrina. Still dealing with the travel advisory heading to the downtown connector right there as it meets I-20. Looking at a couple lanes, block 75, 85 north, getting past University Avenue, exit 244. We're already back towards Langford Park with the delays. You may want to use I-25. Save yourself a little bit of time here. Seeing some road work popping up. 400 southbound the ramp to 85 south, exit 1. Slowing and going all the way back towards Lenox Road. Merge Madness making it tough through here. And looking at that volume, 85 southbound through Duluth, looking a little slow right now. You're on and off the brakes from from Highway 316 down towards Indian Trail Road, exit 101. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, breezy and rather cool, high 63, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping to the mid-30s to low 40s tomorrow morning. Sunshine tomorrow afternoon, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 47, afternoon highs in the mid-70s.
We have 43 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show on a good Monday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole gang with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Your boy Blue screens them calls. 30 minutes from now, Eric Erickson joins us live. 1 hour, we're going to talk to CBS News' Jake Rosen. Some big movement in the courts for the Trump administration. And the 11 o'clock hour, Deborah Green's got tickets to give away to see the Counting Crows. You can win those right here on the Mark Aram Show. All right, a couple of big local stories I want to go in depth on. This one popped this morning, and this is a headline I did not expect to see. I'd kind of, blocked out what was going on in the Fulton County Courthouse with President Trump, and because it's basically, it's all over now. All of the stuff that President Trump was facing before re-election, the documents case, I mean, it's all gone now that he's president. And so I really haven't thought about what was happening at the Fulton County Courthouse. But the breaking news today is Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis reportedly has just 1 month to pay over $54,000 in attorney's fees, according to documents. Imagine waking up and getting that bill. Hey, you owe $54,000, Miss Willis, in attorney's fees. According to a judge's order, the payment is for violating the state's Open Records Act. This is the latest development in an open records dispute between Willis's office and defense attorney Ashley Merchant. The judge found that the DA's office has been, quote, openly hostile to Merchant and handled her open request in a manner that, quote, indicates a lack of good faith. The judge ruled that Willis must also turn over all applicable records within the same 30-day time frame. Merchant, who you remember, was the attorney who filed the motion to disqualify Willis and her office from prosecuting former President Trump and his associates for interfering with the 2020 presidential election. Merchant was representing Trump co-defendant Michael Roman when she began looking into a divorce filing by former special prosecutor Nathan Wade's then estranged wife, Joycelyn. She discovered info that led her and her client to believe that Willis and Wade might have financially benefited from Wade's appointment as a special prosecutor in the case. There's another name I probably haven't said in 2025, Nathan Wade. As a result of the motion, Wade, of course, stepped down from the case after a drama-filled hearing in the Fulton County Court. Willis has continued to be a target of investigation and has since been disqualified from prosecuting the case. At this time, the case against Trump and the remaining co-defendants remains in limbo. So there's a lot to unpack there. The question I have, so basically the judge says that Fani Willis, I would assume Fani Willis and her office, were not forthcoming enough when attorney Ashley Merchant wanted these open records. So he is fining her $54,000 in attorney's fees. Now, the question I have is Fani Willis personally liable for that? Or does that come out of the coffers of the Fulton County's DA's office? I would assume because she was operating under the auspices of the Fulton County DA's office that the district attorney's budget has to pay the $54,000 and not Miss Willis herself. I could be way wrong on that. I'm trying to think of something comparable. If I do something bad here at WSB Radio, knock on wood, I never happened. I said the F word once and I survived. By accident, by the way, people. I'll tell you that story again in just a little bit. But let's say I do something and the judge finds me liable, let's say for libel. Well, let's say I talk blank about someone, it's not true. and the judge fines me $54,000 in attorney's fees. Do I have to pay? Does WSB Radio have to pay? Does Cox Media Group have to pay? Does Apollo, our big bosses, would I be responsible for that? I don't know. So I don't know if Fonnie Willis herself has to come up with $54,000 in the next 30 days, or if that's paid out of the Fulton County DA's budget. Interesting local story developing there. This is another one, another local story I heard this morning on Atlanta's Morning News. Wayfair has chosen Atlanta for its second large format physical store. Wayfair, Atlanta, second large format physical store.
The online furniture retailer opened its first physical large format store in a Chicago suburb and says its Atlanta location will feature 150,000 square feet of space. Wayfair says its new store will offer an immersive experience and that larger items not available for customers to take home right away can be delivered quickly from the retailer's McDonough Fulfillment Center. The new Wayfair store will be located within the district at Howell Mill and is slated to open in the spring of next year. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Thanks, Gina Cervetti. All right, so two points to this story I want to talk about. First and foremost is where this is going. It's going into the former Walmart, as I'm led to believe, the former Walmart on Howell Mill Road. Now, I lived for most of my adult life in that Howell Mill area. We moved to Decatur a year and a half ago, but that Walmart was a game changer for me. I could go there and pick up the newest baseball cards if I was in a hurry and I needed garbage bags or a stop at the deli. I mean, I went to that Walmart a lot. It's a weird location because it's right off the interstate. There's a parking deck, and it wasn't a huge Walmart. It was a smaller size Walmart, but it was invaluable to the neighborhood, for me anyway. And then they closed down. And if memory serves, it was because, I'm sure there's a couple of reasons. Maybe it was an underperforming store. It's kind of shady. Kind of a shady store, a shady Walmart, if you will. But do you remember that people there were a couple of different stores metro-wide where people were lighting fires, remember, in the clothing department? And I think that happened a couple times at Walmart. And I guess the heads of state at Walmart were like, all right, we're not going to, after the last fire and the pandemic, they're like, we're not going to open this again. So it's been sitting empty for probably a couple of years now. And I'm not saying that's why I moved off the Howell Mill corridor, but it was, I mean, the neighborhood felt a loss when that Walmart went away because they had basically everything there, right? They had the grocery store and home goods and whatever. So that was the first thing, because I kept wondering after that Walmart closed, like, what is going to go in there? Because it's such an odd space. And, of course, I was hoping it was a casino or something, but it's Wayfair. Now, I know next to nothing about Wayfair, Deborah Green. I just know the commercial. Wayfair, we got whatever the tagline is. Can you fill me in on what exactly Wayfair is?
So, have you ever been to an IKEA or anything like that? A big furniture store? It's you don't like IKEA. Well, you don't have to put your furniture together at a Wayfair the way you do IKEA. But it's kind of like that. It's a big furniture store, but a whole bunch more. Not just living room sets or dinette sets or anything. They've got all the lamps and comforters and everything that kind of goes. So anything that you might want to decorate your bedroom, kitchen, bar, living room, whatever, they've got it at Wayfair, and pretty decent prices too.
All right, so that explains why I know that they used to be on the commercials. Used to be on Wayfair. We got just what you need, or whatever. Is that close to it? Wayfair.
Yes, that's close.
Yeah, that's right.
We got just. I didn't even know.
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, was it Kelly? Oh, all right. I didn't even know what the store was. All right, so this is. I know my neighbors in the Howell Mill corridor. They're like, really, Wayfair? No offense to Wayfair. Obviously, I'm not their target demo. They're not looking for Mark Arum to walk in there. And I know some people love IKEA, but I'm just not smart enough to A, put IKEA furniture together, and B, figure out that store. It took me, when I bought the futon for my office here, it took me like 4 hours to find the futon and buy the futon. And then I do love the food there, though, at IKEA. Does Wayfair have a similar cafeteria with Swedish meatballs and Swedish meatballs? Anyway, so now the long answer question, what's going to replace the Howell Mill Walmart? It looks like Wayfair, and it is big news. Second, because mostly they're an online operator, second physical store for Wayfair is going to go right there in the old Walmart space on Howell Mill Road. When we come back after a quick break, Crazy flight story. You know I love a good plane story. And what are we paying for car insurance here in the state of Georgia compared to our neighbors? We'll discuss next on the Mark Arum Show.
When the weather is at its worst,
Governor Kemp has declared a state of emergency for the entire state of Georgia until midnight Wednesday morning.
we're at our best.
Again, a tornado warning is in effect for Paulding, Cobb, and southern Cherokee counties.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store.
The movement of the storm 70 miles an hour, incredibly fast.
With your severe weather station, 95.5 WSB.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Attention men. Are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
There's a hidden tax costing hardworking Georgians over $5,000 every year. Governor Kemp's tort reform legislation will end this tax and lower costs for families. It will also protect victims. Listen to Governor Kemp.
The bill that I will sign is not going to keep anyone in this state from receiving the justice that they deserve.
Ensuring our justice system is fair and accessible and lowering costs for us. Tell Georgia's lawmakers, stand with Governor Kemp and pass tort reform. Paid for by Protecting American Consumers Together.
10:20 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking Monday morning St. Patty's Day delays. Live in the traffic center, Andrew Seco.
And we're looking much better as you're heading out of East Point. The map's starting to get back to that St. Patty's Day green. Looking a whole lot better. 7585 north, passing University Avenue. Exit 244, but we are seeing some brake lights building through Fulton County in the Midtown side. Left lane roadwork 400 south, ramping at 85 south, restricts all the way back towards Lennox Road. This is sponsored by Georgia United Credit Union. Georgia United Credit Union knows savings is key. With Visa credit cards, low rates you'll see. Manage your finances stress-free and bright. Start your journey to freedom day or night. Visit GUCU.org today. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I told you if you were ever a shrimp boat captain that I'd be your first mate. Well, here I am.
Happy 70th birthday, Gary Sinise. Got an Oscar nom for playing Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. I'm pretty sure I've interviewed Gary Sinise over the years. I'll look in the audio files. He turns 70 years old today. Happy birthday to Lieutenant Dan. I would love to be a shrimp boat captain. That could be something. If the CIA doesn't work out for my retirement gig,
okay,
I could be either a lobsterman or a shrimp boat captain or first mate like Lieutenant Dan was. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. I know we're all watching what we spend these days because of the economic uncertainty, right? That's what they're saying, the economic uncertainty. Auto insurance rates, though, are climbing, not just here, but nationwide. The average car insurance cost by state. Think about what you pay, folks, before I tell you what the average here is in the state of Georgia. Think about, I know you don't pay Longoria. Leslie pays your auto insurance, so you have no idea. But the average car insurance cost by state here in the state of Georgia, just under $3,000, $2,976. I'm assuming that's per car, per driver, per automobile. I don't think that's the maybe I'm looking at the numbers wrong. I don't think that's what the average family. I think that's what the average car costs to insure here in the state of Georgia. Just under $3,000. We are near the top of the list. There are only a handful of states with more expensive car insurance than us here in Georgia. Colorado's at $3,200 a year. You have all those stone drivers. That makes sense, right? Everyone's high out in Colorado. Legalized marijuana in Florida as well, plus Florida man. $4,200, the average cost of insurance in the state of Florida. That's just car insurance. That's not like flood insurance and hurricane insurance. $4,200 in the state of Florida. Other states ahead of us, Michigan, that surprises me. Maybe the icy roads in Michigan. Michigan average cost by state, $3,100 a year. D.C. is $3,000. Anyone else above us? Oh, New York City, $4,093 is the average car insurance cost in New York. And Nevada, $3,600. Why Nevada? There's no rain, so you don't have to drive in the... Car theft's big in Vegas, maybe? I don't know. That's interesting. So we're near the top. We're in the top 7, I think, as far as high auto insurance rates. Deborah, what are some of the lowest states? Like, where should we move if you want to save on auto insurance?
Well, remember where you got married in Maine because you didn't invite me to the wedding? Maine is actually in the very bottom of the list. It is towards the very bottom there. So Maine comes in at about $1,600. That's your average there for Maine. That's on the lower end. And really the only thing beneath that is going to be Vermont at $1,500. and then Idaho at 1,400. Those are your lowest rates across the country.
All right, so if Canada, go back to our hypothetical, if Canada, maybe they'll invade because the car insurance rates are so low in Maine and Vermont. They're like, we're going to take that land over. Maine is interesting to me because I would have thought Maine would be higher because when here in Georgia, right, what animal do drivers hit in Georgia all the time? Deer. Right? Longoria hit a deer.
Oh, yeah, I hit one.
He lived to tell about it. I mean, aside from like possums and squirrels, but like big mammals. Moose are prevalent in Maine. And so I thought the number of moose accidents might be causing Maine insurance to go up, but it's pretty low in Maine, Vermont, and Idaho. All right, so there you go. We're paying a lot here in the state of Georgia. We got to get that knocked down for sure. All right, thank you, Deborah Green. There was something I wanted to mention in regard. Oh, there he goes. My squirrel brain just went gone. Can't remember. All right. Anyway, it'll come to me. All right. Plane story. I like a good plane story. This is not a good plane story, but it is a plane story. Just thank your lucky stars you are not on this just absolutely horrible plane ride, I guess would be the only way to explain it, Deborah.
Mark, I know you enjoy a meal on a plane, but this one passenger was flying from England to Thailand. Now he had to stop in Abu Dhabi, so it made the flight about 6 hours. But he claims he was given a rather smelly meal on his flight. But he was so hungry, he wolfed it down anyway. And then moments later, he wasn't feeling so well, ran to the bathroom, vomited over 30 times. He was in the bathroom for much of the flight with other gastrointestinal issues, we'll just say that. And he was so weak that he actually ended up being on the floor for the rest of the flight just because he couldn't move. And then when they finally landed, he was taken to the doctor and given an IV drip. No one else on the plane was sick, so they're thinking it's not food poisoning.
I feel bad for the guy. That's just IV drip. They need multiple. You throw up 30 times. Do you know how dehydrated you are? I had once got food poisoning. It wasn't from food on a plane. I was at the world's busiest, and I was boarding a flight to Vegas for my fantasy baseball draft, actually, which I just had yesterday. And I grabbed a sandwich at one of those grab-and-go places because I knew I wasn't getting a meal. I was in the back of the plane. And I ate the sandwich, landed in Vegas, and I was supposed to be there for 3 days. 2 of those 3 days, I did not leave the bathroom. I got some sort of food poisoning from that grab-and-go sandwich. One of the most awful experiences that I've had in my life. But at least it happened after I landed. I pointed back. It was like a Caesar chicken wrap or some crap like that. I should have known. You're at the airport, Aram. Go to Popeyes. Right?
There's a Chick-fil-A there, too.
There's a Varsity Junior. Yeah, that was my mistake for trying to eat healthy. Chicken Caesar wrap. Anyway, thoughts and prayers to that dude. All right, Sabrina standing by with news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, we're going to preview President Trump speaking with President Putin tomorrow as they continue to find a ceasefire deal or path to a ceasefire deal. But coming up next, Eric Erickson joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head-scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you. because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Mom and Dad seemed different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 35% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Heavy rains have recently impacted widespread areas of North Georgia. How did your roof hold up? Heavy rains expose roof leaks that can lead to water damage. Schedule a free roof analysis from Dave Baker, trusted and recommended, FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. New this half hour, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office is slapped with a judgment totaling tens of thousands of dollars.
The ruling comes from Fulton County Superior Court Judge Rachel Krause, who finds DA Fonnie Willis violated Georgia's Open Records Act by failing to turn over information to defense attorney Ashley Merchant, including a confidentiality agreement for employees. Willis's office now has 30 days to pay Merchant's office just over $54,000 in attorney's fees, along with the information requested. Merchant says she's thrilled with the judgment, which says Willis's office failed to operate in good faith. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Going to be sunny and breezy this afternoon and cool. Highs around 63. Some of the winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. If you failed to show up for Atlanta Traffic Court, you may be able to resolve your case and get amnesty. The Municipal Court of Atlanta is launching the program for those who did not show up for their scheduled court date for traffic violations. Only failure to appear arrest warrants related to traffic offenses will be waived. The amnesty does not apply to code violations or other offenses. Amnesty is only available until April 21st. The court will have special hearings for these cases to be heard. And more than 300 measles cases are now being reported across more than a dozen states, including here in Georgia. The Atlanta-based CDC says they're also aware of more probable measles cases that are still under investigation. The biggest outbreaks are in Texas and New Mexico. 2 people have died from measles this year. It seems we're working fewer hours these days. Analytics company ActiveTrack says that the average workday in the United States ends at 4:39 in the afternoon. That's 42 minutes earlier than just 2 years ago. The average American now works 8 hours and 41 minutes every day. The total is down almost a full hour from 2022. But despite the shorter day, they say overall worker productivity has actually risen 2%. Retail sales increased, but not as much as economists had been expecting. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Retail sales increased by just 0.2% on the month. That's a lot lower than the 0.6% increase that economists were expecting. Companies like Dollar General, Walmart, Costco, Kohl's, and Macy's have already said that they are seeing consumers pull back on their spending. This report may lead credence to that warning.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 155 at 41,643, so the Dow's up slightly. NASDAQ is in negative territory, but the S&P is in the green. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Let's go to the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning. Still seeing those delays as you're heading out of Buckhead towards the Beaufort Spring Connector. 400 South merging into 85 South. Left lane roadwork making it tough. We're delayed back towards Lenox Road. You may want to use Piedmont Road or Highway 9 to get around things here. A little bit of stoppage I-20 eastbound. Roadwork in the right lane on the through lanes getting past Wesley Chapel Road. Exit 68. Left lane's also blocked on the collector distributor ramp getting past I-285. And roadwork still active through Canton. 575 southbound getting past Canton Highway, exit 20. We're blocked in a right lane on the interstate as well as a left lane on the merge ramp here. Slowing and going just a little bit as you're heading closer to Holly Springs. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and breezy today, staying rather cool with a high of 63. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping down to the upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, high 74.
It is sunny and 44 degrees right now in Alpharetta. It's 45 in Powder Springs and 44 in Johns Creek. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Aram, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go, 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
What happened behind the scenes with the budget battle on the Senate floor? Eric Erickson will fill us in. He's live next on the Mark Aram Show.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are, just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
After a stormy weekend, you may need My Roofer, FGA Roofing. This is Scott Slade. They can respond within 24 hours to assess any damage to your roof and assist in documenting what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
10:36, St. Patrick's Day edition of the Mark Aram Show rolls on. Keep posting more St. Patty's Day pictures from the station in my Instagram story at Mark Aram, MarkArum. While you're on Instagram, give my buddy Eric Erickson a follow as well. Is it EW Erickson? What's your Instagram handle?
EW Erickson.
EW Erickson. Good morning, Eric Erickson. How are you, brother?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I didn't infringe on our friendship because I've been dying to talk to you, and I was like, don't text Erickson over the weekend. He doesn't want to talk politics. Save it for Monday's show. So here we are. What happened behind the Senate doors for the Democratic Party where Chuck Schumer said, okay, I will vote for this budget bill? Because it looked like it wasn't going to happen, and then it did. Do we know what happened to get those Democratic votes?
Yes. Russ vote happened. So the Senate Democrats were caught between a rock and a hard place here. They either had to fund the continuing resolution through the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th. That also includes increased funding to pay for the DOJ staff and deportations, or they had to shut down the government, in which case Russ Vought, the head of Office of Management and Budget, would have been in charge of shutting down the government. And Russ Vought is on record essentially saying that if the government shuts down, it should be eliminate whole departments within the government very efficiently and make it more difficult for these people to come back after the shutdown. He, as the OMB director, has the power to lay people off if there's a government shutdown.
Well, that's why I said before the vote happened, I was like, I'm not sure that President Trump doesn't want a government shutdown, because then, he could have literally free reign when it comes to what he wants and doesn't want to keep in the federal government.
Yeah, very much so. And the Democrats I don't know that they knew they were being played, but I mean, I had people from the White House saying, play up Russ Vogt as much as you want because the Democrats need to be reminded of the consequences of a shutdown. The Republicans in the administration said they didn't particularly want the shutdown because they would have to deal with the shutdown before they could deal with finishing their tax cut plan, and it would just delay the tax cut plan. So they were hoping if they mentioned Russ Vogt enough, the Democrats would realize you don't really want to shut the government down.
I can only imagine what the far left wing of the Democratic Party thinks about Leader Schumer at this morning, right? He had to have gotten a major political blowback from the far left.
So much so he's canceled a book tour. He was supposed to go on a book tour and has announced that he's going to delay it while he deals with the fallout of this because they expected progressive protesters to show up and heckle him at his book signing tour.
Wow, but aside from that, is his leadership in question? I mean, was it that? Did he cross the Rubicon when it comes to the far left?
No, not really. I mean, even people like Sheldon Whitehouse, who is a pretty progressive, not exactly a fan of Chuck Schumer. He's like, this would not be helpful right now to do this.
Interesting. Both Georgia senators voted against the budget bill. Any notable yes votes on the Democratic side?
Well, I mean, Chuck Schumer, for one,
Yeah.
being willing to vote for it is a pretty big deal. It was kind of expected. Rand Paul actually was going to vote against it. They expected that one. So having these Democratic offsets to be able to get through the filibuster. Now, one of the bigger issues is, that it got 60 Democratic votes to override the filibuster, and then most of the Democrats still did wind up voting against it.
Which gives them shelter, right? Especially in some vulnerable states where they could say, hey, I voted against it. Maybe that was part of the calculus for Schumer's. Like, I'll throw myself on the sword.
Right.
And a couple of others are going to vote yes, so the majority of you can still vote no and campaign on that.
Well, and you got to remember, he's becoming sort of like Mitch McConnell in the minority. McConnell's rule was always, I'll take all the bullets from my own side to save vulnerable members of the Republican conference. And now Schumer is in that position where he's got to do very much like McConnell did, who was hated by Republicans in large part because McConnell played the bad guy, so no one else had to.
All right, so a little younger version of Mitch McConnell
Yes.
is Chuck Schumer. Eric Erickson joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. I don't know if you saw this local story that popped this morning, Eric, regarding Fulton County DA Fani Willis. Are you up to speed on that story?
I am not.
All right, so she apparently a judge has ordered Willis to pay $54,000 in attorney fees to defense attorney Ashley Merchant for violation of the state's Open Records Act, right? So this all goes back to the Trump investigation in Fulton County. Apparently, Fani Willis and her office were not as friendly as they should have been with Ashley Merchant when it comes to the Open Records Act. And a judge is like, all right, you have 30 days now to fork over $54,000. It's a pretty big headline, right? The question I have, though, is the DA personally on the hook for that $54,000, or does the Fulton County DA's budget handle that $54,000 fine?
It depends on how the specific order is worded, but normally it's actually the DA's office that would be on the record or responsible for it, because as a public official, those records were public records. They weren't her personal records. So the DA's office typically is on liability for those.
That's what I thought, but the reporting I saw didn't make it clear, because I'd be like, that's a whopper as an individual to be like, hey, you have 30 days to pay $54,000.
Right.
I'd be selling heirlooms to pay that off. All right, so yeah, that story just broke this morning, so I know you're going to want to dig into that. I do want to talk to you about the living history lesson we're getting right now when it comes to the Alien Act of 17...
Alien Enemies Act of 1789.
So President Trump using this in regards to exportation of Venezuelan drug cartel members. Am I saying that story correctly? What do you think about that? Is this really creative lawyering?
It is very creative lawyering, and also kind of shows you why Congress should probably start repealing laws from that long ago. Now, one of the big issues, though, I guess it was actually 1796 when this was passed. John Adams was tied to the Alien and Sedition Acts, which kind of ended the Federalist Party. But this was at a time where the U.S. was still in a hostile state with Great Britain and wanted to be able to round up people and get them out of the country quickly. There is no active war declaration right now, which kind of matters the way that law was written. Trump is largely getting around it by saying he is the commander-in-chief. We are in a state of war with these drug cartel members. It's very creative lawyering to find this piece of legislation to use. And also, they tried to keep it very quiet that they were doing it. It was someone on the internet who monitors deportations who saw these deportation flights headed to El Salvador and summoned the ACLU.
The way I read it is, it's supposed to be during times of war, but if President Trump declares war on cartels, on the border, on the drug trade, is that enough wiggle room for him to be able to use this act from the 18th century?
That's the question. Only Congress can declare war, even though he's the commander-in-chief, and Congress hasn't declared war, but he has declared them foreign terrorists, and there is a foreign terrorist statute that applies the rules of war to declared terrorists. So that's where he's going. The problem, however, is these were illegal immigrants who were allowed into the country pending court hearings by the Biden administration, and there is an argument about a due process hearing for them. However, the Trump administration, I think they're right, says there's a Supreme Court case from the 1940s that says you have, as the president has the right to deport people who aren't supposed to be here, and judges can't stop him.
I'm glad you brought up former President Biden. I haven't had a chance to talk about the story, but President Trump on, I think, Truth Social made some accusations that the Biden pardons, right, the now infamous Biden pardons, weren't actually written by President Biden. They were auto-penned by a staffer, and President Trump's claiming those are null and void. Is this a real story or is it a distracting story?
This is a distracting story.
Okay.
It's the intent of the president that matters. Joe Biden signing his name. It's the same way that I can put an X instead of my signature, and because it's my intent that's my signature, it's my signature.
Just don't have Charlie sign stuff for you.
Yeah, definitely not.
What's coming up on the show today, buddy?
Going to actually start with the deportation issue and how they did it, but also we finally got the astronauts back, and one of the crazy, frustrating things they're about to be back, is, Joe Biden called them stranded in space last year. But a month ago, when Donald Trump said they were stranded in space, the media fact checkers said they're not technically stranded in space. But that's what Joe Biden said last year. So why can't they be called stranded in space now?
I've been calling them stranded, and then the astronauts were like, no, we're not stranded. I don't know if that's just like the company line, but I'm sorry. From a Gilligan's Island 3-hour tour to 9 months in space.
Yes, exactly.
That's stranded to me. Final question: St. Patty's Day. Are we expecting corned beef and cabbage at the Erickson house today?
Lord, no. I am wearing green. Being Presbyterian, I should probably wear orange, but I put on my Green Masters hoodie today.
Oh, nice. Excellent. All right. Check out Eric Erickson's wardrobe. He broadcast video stream live. You can watch it on X or Twitter at EW Erickson. Eric, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Quick break. We'll come back. There is some post-World War II precedent for that Aliens Act that President Trump's using for deportation. I'll tell you about that next on The Mark Arum Show.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
There aren't many things more precious than your engagement ring. The start of your love story, a symbol of your commitment that you get to treasure every day. Have you ever thought about breathing new life into that ring? At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, we're bringing the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design to you with their full assortments. Come to D. Geller & Son for the ultimate ring shopping experience this weekend, March 21st through 23rd in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at Myland always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you could afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. Myland is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, Myland will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call Myland. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their coming Roswell or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
The word Delbar in Farsi means beloved, and that's what Delbar Middle Eastern Restaurant is all about. Serving Mediterranean dishes from wood-fired grilled meats, seafood, and chicken to their iconic basmati rice. Delbar is an unforgettable experience.
I'm Faris Kargar, and I'm the owner of Delbar Restaurants, and I personally invite you guys to come in and experience our Persian hospitality to capture your heart and enjoy a memorable experience.
See what the buzz is all about. Visit one of their 3 Michelin Guide-recommended Delbar restaurants. Google Delbar Atlanta today.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
10:52 on the Mark Arum Show. Construction delays in out of Buckhead, Georgia 400 way. Live, Andrew Seco.
We're heading south on 400, merging onto 85 southbound left lane roadwork as you're hitting that ramp. That's exit 1. Jammity all the way back towards Lennox Road. Might be time to use Lennox or Piedmont Road as suitable bypass options. This report sponsored by Georgia United Credit Union. Georgia United Credit Union has cooked up something special, a 15-month limited time CD with an incredible 4.25% APY. Turn your dough into more dough by visiting GUCU.org/CD today. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm going to hide this tape when I'm finished. If none of us make it, at least there'll be some kind of record.
Happy 74th birthday, Kurt Russell. He turned 74 today. That was from 1982's The Thing. I would not have picked that audio cut for when I say Kurt Russell. Wyatt Earp, right? That's his main role.
Yeah.
That's it.
What was the one? Wasn't he on that one with Goldie Hawn on the boat? What was that one called?
Yeah, Overboard.
Yeah, Overboard.
Yeah. There was another one, Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
But anyway, 74 years old today is actor Kurt Russell. All right, I do want to update. By the way, Erickson is right. The astronauts are coming tomorrow. They're coming home tomorrow. Set to come home tomorrow. They've been stuck. Stranded, stuck. I mean, whatever. You're stranded, man. It's not like there's a MARTA bus that comes every 15 minutes. Like, they're stranded. I don't care if they don't want to use that word. They're stranded up there. Anyway, they're set to come home tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be safe and sound. Hopefully, it'll be during our show, so we can cover that live. I do want to update that. I mean, it's crazy. We're talking about this Aliens Act of 1789 or 1790. I should get the proper date right. It's the Alien Enemies Act. And it was a 1798 law. All right, so 1798 law. That President Trump has used to invoke for deportations. Now, I remember that act just from history class knowing, all right, it happened, I think in the Mexican War, the War of 1812, I don't know, World War II for sure, where if you were a non-citizen in the United States during World War II from either Japan, Germany, or Italy, that you could be deported under this act. And I thought that was the last time it was used, was during World War II. But apparently it happened, and this could be good for President Trump's legal team to say, oh, no, it happened after World War II. Apparently, well, let's just let Nicole D'Antonio from ABC explain.
Critics argue the administration defied the judge's orders, but the White House argues the judge has no jurisdiction over the president's conduct of foreign affairs and his core Article 2 powers to remove foreign alien terrorists. However, the law has precedent. In 1948, 3 years after the end of World War II, the Supreme Court upheld President Truman's decision to deport a German national as an enemy alien.
How about that? So 3 years after World War II ended, we're no longer at war. As Eric mentioned, it's only Congress that can declare war. 3 years after World War II, President Truman used that Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport a German national as an enemy alien. So that's precedent. So maybe that President Trump is well within his right if the courts, and listen, speaking of the courts, Jake Rosen from CBS is going to join us after the news at 11 and get us caught up to date on all the court issues that the Trump administration is dealing with. But again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's precedent. The nation was not in war in 1948, and the Supreme Court held that President Truman could boot out this German national. He was deported as an enemy alien. I had in my old complex, my old house, there was a World War II vet that lived in my neighborhood. German World War II vet. Old guy, nice guy, kind of kept to himself. And whenever I was walking Bosco and Deuce, I'd run into him and, he'd pet the dogs. And at first I said, hey, I'd love to get you on my show to talk about your experience, right? Because we hear from World War II vets on our side, but I've never talked to a World War II vet who fought with the German army. And he's like, no, definitely not. And I was like, all right. So then I'd see him a couple, weeks later. I'm like, how about just you and I just talk? You don't have to come on the radio show. Let's just talk. He goes, I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't know if it was what his hang up was. That he was just ashamed, embarrassed. He didn't want to confess to war crimes or something. But I tried. He passed away a few years ago. But I tried for a long time. I just wanted to sit down and have a cup of coffee with him. And be like, what was it like being a German soldier in World War II? Anyway, so there's some precedent, perhaps, for President Trump. Truman deporting a German national as an enemy 3 years after the end of World War II. All right, we're going to talk about this court case, those court cases, all them court cases. Jake Rosen, CBS News reporter, is going to join us live next after news, weather, and traffic. Social medias are active. Keep pumping up those St. Patty's Day pics. I'm going to post one of me and Judd dressed in green in just a second. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Time changes, season changes. March is a busy month. Dave Baker here for Coolray. Now is the perfect time to get your heating and cooling system tuned up. Coolray will tune up your system for just $79 or get up to $2,250 in rebates on a new Carrier heating and cooling system that comes with the lifetime parts and labor warranty. Simply schedule your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Just pick the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
There's a hidden tax costing hardworking Georgians over $5,000 every year. Governor Kemp's tort reform legislation will end this tax and lower costs for families. It will also protect victims. Listen to Governor Kemp.
The bill that I will sign is not going to keep anyone in this state from receiving the justice that they deserve.
Ensuring our justice system is fair and accessible and lowering costs for us. Tell Georgia's lawmakers, stand with Governor Kemp and pass tort reform. Paid for by Protecting American Consumers Together.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Termites could be eating your home right now and you never know it. Scott Slade here for Breda Pest Management. When was the last time you actually saw your service inspect for termite damage? Well, let me guess. They just walked around outside and checked bait stations. Better get Breda. They use advanced infrared cameras and microwave technology for early detection. Switch to Breda, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. Let's start with Wall Street. It could be in for another rocky week with more economic reports to digest and a decision on interest rates due from the Fed this week.
Tariff talk has rattled the markets, but WSB consumer expert Clark Howard says he hasn't made a single move with his own 401k or IRA.
We've been overdue for a correction or a bear market.
Clark says just like during the pandemic, he expects people and the market to adapt.
Every time tariff wars have started, they eventually end and normal economic activity resumes.
He says shoppers are pulling back on spending, making this a good time to pay off high-interest debt. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All right, so what's in store weather-wise today? Well, it's going to be sunny but breezy and cool, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Headed for an afternoon high of 63. Some of those winds, she says, could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And DeKalb County SWAT officers helped nab a murder suspect out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. 40-year-old Jason Bowen was found by U.S. Marshals at a Flat Shoals Road motel. DeKalb SWAT team served the warrant and arrested Bowen and his girlfriend, Trayshawn Hick. Inside the motel room, investigators found weapons and drugs. Both were taken to the DeKalb County Jail and then were turned over to U.S. Marshals. A judge rules that Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis must pay up after violating Georgia's Open Records Act, and she has to do it in 30 days. She has to pay just over $54,000 to defense attorney Ashley Merchant after Superior Court Judge Rachel Krause rules the DA's office was openly hostile to Merchant by failing to turn over records. In addition to the money, Fonnie Willis must also turn over all responsive materials in the case. Kash Patel making his mark as the FBI's newest director by pushing for a shakeup. He is attempting to decentralize the Bureau's command structure while also dividing the agency into 3 regions. Justice reporter Jake Rosen has more.
After 9/11, the former head of the FBI, Robert Mueller, made it so that 52 field directors all report to the deputy director of the FBI, who now is Dan Bongino. What this new directive from Kash Patel did, this email came out Friday, was that it breaks the regions of the FBI reporting structure into 3, Central, East, and West, so that the top agents and all the field offices around the country report to basically a lead in those 3 agents, and then they go up the chain.
Now, President Trump says he's going to be talking with Russian President Vladimir Putin tomorrow as efforts to continue to end the war in Ukraine. Trump disclosed the upcoming conversation to reporters while he was flying from Florida to Washington on Air Force One last night, while the Kremlin confirmed that Putin's participation was confirmed this morning. Mr. Trump said that land and power plants are part of the conversation around ending the war in Ukraine, which started when Russia invaded 3 years ago. All right, just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you can relax. In fact, in 2024, roughly half of all Americans holding multiple jobs had a college degree, according to a new analysis by the Federal Reserve. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, roughly 8.9 million workers held multiple jobs last month. Workers with college degrees are picking up multiple jobs for a number of reasons. Some are looking for better opportunities to advance or shift their careers. Others say that they need the money given the higher prices, stagnant wages, and other economic concerns. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 167 at 41,655. NASDAQ is currently down, and the S&P is in positive territory, but only slightly. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, we're watching some brake lights out of Buckhead heading toward Midtown with that left lane construction on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. Also, roadwork active in DeKalb County. It's in the left lane of the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp between 285 and Wesley Chapel. That's why you're seeing those right lanes really jammed up on 285 east leaving Flat Shoals. They also have a construction and a right through lane of I-20 before Wesley Chapel. Luckily, no big delays there. Just stay to your left as you make that commute out toward Lithonia. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, breezy and rather cool, high 63, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping to the mid-30s to low 40s tomorrow morning. Sunshine tomorrow afternoon, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 47, afternoon highs in the mid-70s.
It is 46 degrees in Marietta and Roswell. College Park has 47 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I want this town to be near you.
11:04 on this pretty chilly St. Patty's Day edition of the Mark Arum Show. Welcome back, friends. The crew and I with you till noon. Coming up in 30 minutes. Deborah's got tickets to give away to see the Counting Crows. Yes, the Counting Crows. Your chance to win those tickets coming up in 30 minutes. If you missed the first 2 hours of the show, you missed a lot, including WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards joining us live in studio about the severe weather we saw here in the metro area over the weekend. It just, I mean, no fatalities, which is great. One person injured. There was a confirmed EF1 tornado that touched down near Dallas. Some property damage for sure, but it's certainly a lot worse out to the west in Alabama. But again, kudos to Christina and the entire news, weather, and traffic team over the weekend, keeping us safe. All right, joining us live from, I'm assuming you're in New York City now. It's Justice reporter from CBS, Jake Rosen. You back in the Big Apple, Jake?
I'm in Washington, D.C., actually.
D.C.
I've been living here and covering the courts and covering everything going on in the FBI and DOJ. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, the reason I bring that up is because listeners of the Mark Arum Show know the amazing reporting you did on the Trump campaign for us down in South Florida. You were living out of a suitcase for months and months down there. So you're back. You have an actual house now, an apartment. You're back in D.C.?
I have an apartment. I'm able to sleep in my bed more than one night a month or one night a week. And it's been nice to actually cook a meal from time to time and see friends and get a beer at the neighborhood bar and all those things,
nice.
Which just was not a thing for a year and a half.
Well, but thank you on behalf of all the listeners. Thanks for your coverage.
You're
I mean,
welcome.
you really were amazing down there in South Florida. But I'm glad you're able to set up some roots in the nation's capital. And there's a lot to talk about now as the Justice reporter. We spent a bulk of the beginning of the show talking about the Aliens Act of 1798. And, what the Trump administration's using that to deport folks from Venezuela. The judge blocked it, but the flights kept going. Any new information on that story this morning?
Yeah, and, it's interesting just how this happens, right? In a lot of the cases, there's over 115. There are actual pressing last-minute needs. And I think this was one of those cases where, quite frankly, because of just the speed at which the Trump administration worked in wanting to get this done, that it appears that it doesn't really matter whether they listen to the judge's order or not, because it appears that they were already well underway with this before the Trump's decision to invoke this act in relation to potential Venezuelan gang members was already well underway by the time they published that. And by the time the judge actually heard arguments, and then they had to take a break to get more information. And by the time he actually issued his decision, which blocked and not just the initial batch of 5 guys who sued to stay in the United States in custody, they were already on their way there. The Trump administration appears that they let that plane continue to go, did not turn it around after the judge ordered it. And it's one of those first instances of really clashing between the judiciary and the executive branch and what they see as their prerogative to kind of do this in the name of national security while invoking something in American history that really has almost never been invoked, right? Like 3 or 4 times. So
that's it.
it's
So
fascinating
if I'm hearing you correctly, Jake, the Trump administration, kind of using a sports analogy, they just called an audible in the middle of this. They'd already planned the deportations, and in the middle of this process, they're like, oh, we can use this act from 1798. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah, and it's something that on the campaign trail, Donald Trump talked about all the time, that he wanted to do this, that really all you have to do, and there really, unfortunately, is not really a right to due process in a lot of the way that they're doing this, because you have to be over 13 years old, be technically affiliated with a gang, which, according to my CBS News colleagues here, a lot of the time, that's just based on the tattoos that you have, right? There's no intelligence sharing between Venezuela and the United States over these gang members. So if you have an MS-13 tattoo or something like that, that's an easy way to prove that you are a member, right? You have it on your skin, inked in you. But at the same time, by invoking this, it's an easy way to speed up really speed up mass deportations, which we've reported at CBS. We're not going at the pace that Donald Trump wanted them to go in the first 50 or so days of his administration. This is one way to really put the pedal to the metal, especially in terms of alleged criminals. However, I think we have to wait and see what else happens in this sphere over the next couple of weeks. Do they expand it to other groups of alleged gang members? Were there any people there who were not gang members who were deported under this act, which in that case, technically, they should not have been deported in that way yesterday.
So will the Trump administration adhere now from the judge's order? Are they going to keep going? Are they appealing? What's the next step in that process?
There's more to come today from the White House. I'm sure we'll hear more at the press briefing later today. Tom Homan, who's the border czar for the Trump administration, said today that these flights are going to continue. They're going to keep sending these alleged gang members to El Salvador, where basically they're sent to, and if you and your viewers haven't watched this, CBS did a great piece, CNN has done a great one on this Supermax prison that's there. It's football fields worth of cells. Where basically it's something like out of a Batman movie, like Arkham Prison, where they mix the gangs, and basically people are there for life, and you never get to see the light of day ever again. What the U.S. is doing now is, instead of filling our prisons up with these gang members, is sending these guys out. And Tom Homan said that he wants that and expects that to continue. We'll see whether the judge can kind of force this at hand, but the problem, Mark, is that when these people are officially in another government's custody, the judge basically has no authority to bring them back or authority over the case. So this can apply to other people in the U.S. now, but the 160 or so gang members who were sent there have no real authority right now.
Interesting. Justice reporter Jake Rosen from CBS joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. So I had to go back to high school history class to remember the last time the Aliens Act was used. It was 3 times. It was used during the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. But I saw reporting this morning that there's actually post-World War II precedent on this Aliens Act law. President Truman, in 1948, 3 years after the end of World War II, the Supreme Court upheld President Truman's decision to deport a German national as an enemy alien. That was 3 years after the war. The country was not at war with Germany then, but the Supreme Court said that President Truman could do that. Does that give the Trump legal team precedent to actually keep doing this then?
Yes, because of that Supreme Court decision, the Trump administration believes that they have a right that even though the United States is not technically in a congressionally mandated war against Venezuela, they did designate Tren de Aragua as one of these gangs and a couple other gangs as official terrorist groups. And because of that, they believe that they have the authority, because the Venezuelan government is affiliated and has a lot of ties to these gangs, that they are now able to invoke that basically, all through executive power, no relying on Congress, which obviously was the case in earlier wars in American history, to basically take action on this.
Jake, final question for you. I know we spent the bulk of this interview talking about that 1798 precedent, but any other stuff legally that the Trump team's dealing with right now?
Well, we saw the deportation of a Lebanese woman who was a doctor at Brown. There was supposed to be a court hearing today, and she was deported. She's a surgeon working at Brown University, who the administration took issue with her past stances on things going on in the Middle East. They're trying to deport her. This has happened across a couple people over the weekend. We've seen them try to revoke visas and kick people out of the country. encouraging people to self-deport, but I think especially after that Columbia case, which got so much attention last week, certainly something to keep an eye on. In addition to, there's 100+ cases, so I'd say go to CBS News, and I'm happy to come on whenever to keep tabs on whatever else happens today and this week.
Great new beat, the Justice Beat. Jake Rosen no longer living out of his suitcase in a hotel outside of Mar-a-Lago, back in the nation's capital. Jake, great to have you. Thanks so much for your time, buddy.
Thanks, Mark.
There you go. I was kind of jealous. I wouldn't mind living in a hotel for 6 months, but I guess it can get old. I would embrace that lifestyle. He wants a home-cooked meal. I'd be like, oh, Uber Eats every day. All right, quick break. When we come back, my favorite, all-time favorite Georgia tourist attraction finally gets the due it deserves. I'll explain next on The Mark Arum Show.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
I've got a sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Are you looking for trustworthy automotive service that exceeds your expectations? Well, look no further than Rocco's European Garage. This is Rocco, and my family and I built this company by prioritizing honesty with upfront, all-in pricing and always allowing the customer to approve the work prior to us beginning. And if you're concerned about downtime, we offer a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker. Experience automotive service like never before at one of Rocco's European Garage's 6 locations or online at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar. Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
11:19 on the Mark Aram Show. No surprise here. Construction delays on I-20. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Yeah, it's a double work zone out there in DeKalb County heading toward Lithonia. You have left lane construction on the I-20 eastbound collector distributor ramp. That's the ramp that takes you from 285 to I-20 eastbound approaching Wesley Chapel. So that's got 285 east and north slow coming up from Flat Shoals. Then in the through lanes of I-20, the construction in the same area is in the right lane. Use caution there. Another construction zone coming out of Buckhead. Left lane blocked on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. That is starting to creep up with delays back toward Lennox Road coming out of Buckhead. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
As soon as I hear this song, I think of Something About Mary. Right, wasn't this on the Something About Mary soundtrack? Happy 81st birthday, John Sebastian, lead singer of the Loving Spoonful. Do you believe? I hear this song, and it's a fine song. But I think Deborah Green, we should be able to come up with we should be one-hit wonders, right? With your talent, my lyrical skills. We got Vinny now who could produce. We could come up with a song like Do You Believe in Magic?
I believe that I penned and we wrote the Longoria song,
Yes.
which should have been a #1 Apple bestseller.
The only problem is we didn't own the musical rights to the Canadian national anthem. But otherwise, yeah, you're absolutely. But I mean, love
Oh
it.
yeah, they don't like us now.
You just write one hit song and you're done for. We have the. That's our SMART goal for 2025. I'm gonna put that out there. Longoria, you can just ride our coattails. You can play the.
Oh, okay, thanks.
What is it? The tambourine. You could be our hot tambourine player. Okay. But Deborah and I and Vinny are going to come up with a hit song by the end of the year. Anyway, happy 81st birthday, John Sebastian from Loving Spoonful. Also, happy birthday belatedly to Heather Taylor from our promotions to our digital department. And there is a phenomenal birthday cake in the newsroom right now. And it's not an ice cream cake, so Longoria can have it. Yeah, Longoria gave up ice cream, not sweets. And I asked if he can have an ice cream cake. No. Yeah. So there you go. But that was a really, really good chocolate cake. All right, this is fantastic personal news for me. Because as soon as I went to this place for the first time, I said, this is the greatest tourist attraction in the state of Georgia. And people laugh at me. They're like, what? It should be Stone Mountain or the World of Coke or the Georgia Aquarium. All fine places. But to me, the greatest tourist attraction, wherever I take friends from out of town, is actually not in Metro Atlanta. It's down to the south. And that landmark now finally getting its just due, Deborah Green.
Mark, I think you want to check this place out. The Georgia Safari Conservation Park down in Madison made Time Magazine's World's Greatest Places. The park works closely with the organization called Zoological Disaster Response, Rescue, and Recovery, and they basically give homes to animals that are unable to stay in their natural environments, whether it's a natural disaster or maybe even poaching. But if you go on a tour, you're likely to see giraffes, a rhino, maybe even a rhino named Longo. They've got addax, bison, impala, and a whole bunch of other animals. Time magazine pointed out its impact to the city, to Madison, by creating new business opportunities and jobs. And then its inclusive nature of the safari vehicles, lodging, everything there is wheelchair friendly.
So that is not the place that I call it. So that's a different place. So the Wild Animal Safari, it to me is the greatest tourist attraction in the state of Georgia. But Deborah, this is something different. This is down in Madison, and because there's no rhinos at the Georgia Wild Animal Safari. So this is a totally separate entity.
Yeah, you can actually go camping at this location. Or glamping, I guess. You can rent a cabin and hang out there for the weekend. They could do private events. It's pretty cool.
It sounds amazing, but I'm gonna have to go. I'm not camping. I'm sorry. I'm not even glamping. I'm not gonna do it. But I have to go before I can say that it is Leapfrog, the Wild Animal Safari. I'm gonna hold off on praise on that. If you're not familiar with the Wild Animal Safari, this is the most magical place on earth. No offense to Disney World. You drive through. You can drive your car, or you can rent one of their cars. I suggest you rent one of their cars, and you drive through, and they'll sell you buckets of food to feed the animals. And the animals are so well fed, even though there are predators there, they don't need to hunt because gringos like me are just handing them food all the time. So when there's no predation, it's just procreation. All their time is spent, instead of being a predator, it's procreating. And you get mixed species animals down there. You get half donkey, half zebra. They have ligers, where a tiger and a lion mate. I love that place. I love that place so much, but I'll try this new place out. If Time Magazine says it's the best, then who am I to argue? All right, thank you for that, Deborah. All right, let's head over to Israel. Business leaders and opposition politicians in Israel urging the Israeli prime minister to reconsider his decision to fire the head of the Shin Bet Internal Security Service. Our buddy Linda Gradstein has more in Israel.
The Israel Business Forum, which represents private sector workers from 200 of the country's largest companies, called on Netanyahu to reverse his decision to fire Shin Bet chief Ronen Bar. They said that Israel is in the midst of one of the most difficult periods in its history, and that an internal battle in which the prime minister, in a severe conflict of interest, fires gatekeepers would be destructive. Netanyahu says he has lost trust in Bar, who has been critical of the prime minister.
Linda Gradstein there in Jerusalem. Let's go to Tel Aviv now. Rami Incensio from CBS has more on the strikes that President Trump ordered against the Houthis.
The Houthis are claiming that they targeted the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier strike group twice in 24 hours. And in the first attack, they said that they launched 18 missiles and 1 drone. However many they fired, though, it appears that they were all either intercepted or at least didn't find a target.
There you go, Rami Incensio in Tel Aviv. So obviously a lot of action in the Mideast. This after the Trump envoy went to Saudi Arabia. We'll see if there are more Saudi Arabian talks. Again, the big talk tomorrow, we hope, will be between President Trump and President Vladimir Putin. I don't think they're going to meet face-to-face. I suspect it's going to be on the bat phone. But never know, right? President Trump is a showman, so maybe he'll pop up in Saudi Arabia tomorrow with Vladimir Putin. But we'll, of course, cover this historic conversation as both sides try to negotiate an end to this 3-year-long Russia-Ukraine war. News, weather, and traffic straight ahead. When we come back, the 5 worst habits to start your day. I do 4 of these 5 habits. Yeesh, I'll explain when we come back on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. And I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey. And if home care is right for your aging parents, I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
So your garage door won't open. It could be something simple. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. The most common call we get is, help, my garage door is broken. It could be a broken spring or a bent track, but usually it's a malfunctioning opener. Whether you call it an opener or a remote, that little button takes a lot of abuse. When yours breaks, All Four Seasons is your home for the best opener options. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
I am a soul line dance instructor. I've had foot pain, leg pain, everything pain.
Rhonda lived to dance and danced to live.
So I was willing to dance through the pain.
And this is Rhonda's Good Feet story.
Since visiting the Good Feet store and wearing the arch supports, I definitely have not felt the pain. My energy has just drastically improved. Dancing is just a joy. I'm still actually in awe.
Do what you love with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Walk-ins welcome, or visit goodfeet.com for more information.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Bugs bugging you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Wall Street's digesting more economic news this week, including the latest retail sales numbers out today, showing slower growth last month. It's a trend that WSB consumer expert Clark Howard has been noticing.
Consumers are already moving from do to don't. Consumers are smart. People realize that we are going to be in a slowing economy likely.
And Clark says the latest tariff talk is also undermining confidence for investors, businesses, and economists as the market enters correction territory. But he warns against making any knee-jerk moves with your 401k. He says the market disruptions are temporary. A new report this morning from the National Association of Realtors finds that some groups continue to lag behind when it comes to home ownership. Nadia Evangelou is the NAR's senior economist and director of real estate research. She says the gap between black and white homeownership increased in the past decade.
We know that home prices and mortgage rates remain high, making it especially difficult for first-time buyers in minority communities to break into the market.
And the gap, she says, increased despite home ownership rates improving across all racial and ethnic groups. Sunny skies today, windy and cool. Afternoon high around 63, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Some of those winds, she says, could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour today. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis being ordered to pay attorney's fees for violating the state's Open Records Act. Willis has to pay $54,000 for her office's failure to provide records that were requested by a defense attorney for a co-defendant of President Trump. That defense attorney, Ashley Merchant, brought to light a romantic relationship between Fani Willis and the man she hired to prosecute President Trump and many others for alleged election interference back in 2020. Willis has continuously fought open records requests, claiming her office is immune. Willis now reportedly has 30 days to comply with open records and to pay fees to the merchant law firm. If you failed to show up for Atlanta traffic court, you may be able to resolve your case. The Municipal Court of Atlanta is launching an amnesty program for those who did not show up on the otherwise scheduled court date for traffic violations. Now, only failure to appear arrest warrants related to traffic offenses will be waived. The amnesty does not apply to code violations or other offenses. Pepsi is getting into the prebiotic soda business. The soda giant announcing today that it's buying Texas-based prebiotic soda company Poppi. The deal is worth nearly $2 billion. Atlanta-based Coca-Cola launched its own prebiotic soda, Simply Pop, last month. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow is up 202 at 41,690, so the Dow's up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ is in negative territory, and the S&P is up slightly. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Watching brake lights in the work zone out of Buckhead into Midtown with that left lane construction on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. Once you get past that, 75-85 southbound, you're on and off the brakes from 17th Street as you make your way past North Avenue. Northbound a little sluggish from I-20 up to Freedom Parkway. And we got construction near the airport. It's Camp Creek Parkway, left lane blocked in both directions near Old Fairburn Road. That's just outside of the perimeter. But eastbound is slowing as you head toward the airport with that construction zone. Stay in the right lane. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and breezy today, staying rather cool with a high of 63. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Temperatures dropping down to the upper 30s, low 40s tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, high 72. Wednesday, partly cloudy, high 74.
46 degrees in Sandy Springs and Woodstock. In Midtown Atlanta, 47 degrees. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app, all the notifications you need.
If you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
we'll send out an alert on the WSB
The
app.
95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Whatever they're charging, we're charging. Very simple. If they're charging us, we're charging.
Still to
them.
come, the
So-
very latest on the tariff situation. Deborah Green has some amazing tickets to give away, and the 5 things you absolutely do not want to do when you wake up. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, it's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey, friends, it's Mark Arum. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
JIC, Flat Face Seal, BSP, and DEN. If you know what these are, then listen up.
I'm Victoria Holloway. We can replicate hose assembly on site with Mobile Hydraulics of Georgia.
Call 770-HYD-HOSE or try our website, HYDHOSE.com.
Keep packing the animals 2 by 2. Oxygen camel and a kangaroo.
11:37. Happy St. Patty's Day, friends. Hope you're dressed in green or eating some green food. Hey, shoot me a message or tweet at me or X at me, whatever you want to do. I think I got a hankering from corned beef and cabbage today. Fado, I don't know if they're open for lunch anymore. They used to have a good corned beef and cabbage. Anyway, find me on social media and let me know who's got a good corned beef and cabbage. I've got something good for you. Actually, Deborah Green does. It's a pair of tickets to see the legendary Counting Crows at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on July 24th. Blue, let's make it easy for you, buddy. 10th caller to 404-872-0750. 10th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows at Ameris Bank Amphitheater July 24th, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. All right, I'm going to get you the latest on the tariff news in just a second, but this, I feel bad after reading the story. Thanks, Deborah. 5 worst habits to start your day. 5 things you should not do to start your day. First off, even before you go to sleep, and I had trouble sleeping Saturday night because of the impending storms. I got 0 sleep. It was awful. Keeping your phone on your nightstand or using it as an alarm. I do both. The only alarm I have in the morning, it goes off at dark 30, is on my phone. I have 2 alarms. I snooze the first one and then get out of bed on the second one. So apparently that's not a good thing to do, but it's a stark difference than what I used to do. Back in my early TV days, when I had to get up at 3 in the morning, I at one point had 13 different alarm clocks in my bedroom. And this is pre-smartphone days. So I didn't even have an available alarm on my phone. And so that forced me to get out of bed. I would scatter the 13 alarms around the room, because I didn't want to be late. I could not be late. The problem was they'd go off at 3:30 in the morning, I think, back then. And I was living with 3 of my buddies. And so a Friday morning, my alarm goes off at 3:30. Alarms go off, it's like, meh, 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 meh. And my buddies, they're just back from the bar on Thursday night, which was a big going out night in Buckhead. And they'd be screaming at me, Lou, turn off your alarm. They'd have company there, and they'd be like, bring girls home or whatever. And all these alarms, they'd be screaming at me, turn off your alarm. And I got so used to the schedule, I finally got it down to just where I just use my phone alarm. All right, so don't use I don't know what the rationale is not using your phone alarm is. I guess, I don't know. Anyway, prioritizing is the word I'm looking for. Digital connection before human connection. So when you wake up, they're saying, hey, say good morning to your spouse or your kids or something before you pick up the phone and go, oh, let me check Twitter. Let me check my email. That makes sense. Say hi to Leslie before you check to see what your Legos and whatnot sold for.
Yeah.
Beginning the day in a reactive mode by checking emails and social media notifications. So don't do that. Like I said, the first thing I do, I pick up my phone to see if I got any text messages while my phone had been silent. That's the first thing I do. Second thing I do, I take the dogs out, and then I'll look at email. And so it's not right away, but I do it pretty early on. This is one that I do, and I'm not going to change. 5 habits that you shouldn't do to start your day. Drinking coffee immediately upon waking. I do that. As I'm taking the dogs out, I turn on the coffee maker, so when I come on, it's in. Pop my Keurig K-Cup in. Apparently it leads to dehydration. Having that I've seen that before. Wait an hour or 2 after you're up to have the first cup of coffee. Hell no, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Doc Brown. It's not going to happen. And the last thing you want to do to start your day, staying indoors under artificial lights before stepping outside. I'm outside within 5 minutes of waking up. So actually, I do one. I don't do one of the 5. Otherwise, I'm screwed. So those are things that you don't want to do. This is a story. I'm not even gonna offer judgment. I'm just gonna let Deborah tell you. This is pretty crazy, though. Asinine, maybe.
This is great. A French politician is saying, give us back our Statue of Liberty. Raphael Glucksmann claims America has lost its way, no longer stands for what the iconic sculpture represents. He's been pretty vocally against Donald Trump and some of his decisions, like reducing funding to college, where his stance on with Ukraine is. The statue was gifted to the United States back in 1886 to commemorate our centennial independence. Weighs over 400,000 pounds, over 300 feet tall, took about 4 months to assemble. Underwent some major renovations in the 80s too, and it's become this symbol of freedom, and not just in the United States, but really globally. And the United States actually gave France a replica, like a mini Statue of Liberty, back in 1889 to mark the 100 years since the French Revolution, and you can find that not too far from the Eiffel Tower.
All right, first of all, this guy doesn't speak for the French government. It's not like the French president or the French government. It's like, we want our Statue of Liberty back. So I would send the guy a letter. Yeah, come and take it, dude. With 400 tons or whatever. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Let's see. Send us money and we'll ship it to you. Come on. That's ridiculous. Are we upholding the standards of what's on the Statue of Liberty? I don't know. I've never been, by the way.
Really?
Never. You ask
out of all of us, I would think you'd be the one that
it's just there, so you never feel the need to do it. And if I didn't go on a field trip, those are the only times I went to like the landmark places, like the Empire State Building was on a school field trip. So if the Statue of Liberty wasn't on a school field trip, we didn't go. I do remember when it was under renovation, as Deborah mentioned, they filmed the movie Remo Williams, Adventure Begins. And there was a fight on the scaffolding. So for the young kids that don't remember, there was scaffolding all up on the sides and front and back of the Statue of Liberty. It was pretty crazy to see as they were, refurbishing it or whatever. But they filmed a movie scene there in Remo Williams. Loved that movie. I almost used the phrase Indian giver. Like France is being it, but you can't say that anymore, right? Yeah, have we come up with a different term that is obviously not as politically incorrect as Indian giver used to be? Is there a new term for what we used to call that? If so, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of Native Americans, I'm assuming is it Native Americans or Indians for Indian giver? I always assumed it was
Native Americans.
I do have a show recommendation. I don't know if you've seen this, Deborah. I'm late to the game, but it just popped up on Netflix. Dark Winds. Have you ever heard or seen of Dark Winds?
Oh, yeah.
I just finished season 1. It's amazing. And I'm about to start season 2, and apparently it's still on the air. I think it's on AMC. The first season was phenomenal. It's set on a Navajo reservation, I think in the 60s or 70s, so it's like kind of like a period piece. It was really good first season. Dark Winds. I think it's produced by Robert Redford. But yeah, full endorsement on that. Season 1 anyway. I'm going to start season 2 a little bit later on today. All right, Tony and Canton won a pair of tickets to see that band that we're giving tickets away to see. Counting Crows. That's what I get for checking my phone in the morning and drinking coffee as soon as I wake up. Counting Crows. We gave those tickets away. Latest tariff news when we come back. It's the Mark Arum Show on WSB.
When the weather is at its worst?
There was a lot of trees down and quite a bit of damage.
We're at our best.
Crews are out working, trying to make the right call for the hardest hit areas.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store.
One of our local gas stations had the canopy uprooted and landed on top of the actual gas station itself.
With your severe weather station, 95.5 WSB.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms. Extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in AMCO just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to AMCO.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned AMCO near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA
MCO.
Hey, this is Belinda for the board-certified plastic surgeons at Marietta Plastic Surgery. The plastic surgeons and estheticians at Marietta Plastic Surgery have been taking care of my needs for years. Doctors West, McNeil, Hanna, and Biswas have served Atlanta for over 25 years, providing both surgical and non-surgical treatments. They're recognized for their commitment to patient care and satisfaction, and were featured in the Atlantan magazine list of top doctors. The temperature's starting to rise and summer's just around the corner. Are you ready for the pool, lake, or beach? Whether you're considering enhancements for your face, body, or breast, their experts are here to guide you. Marietta Plastic Surgery offers a range of med spa treatments which provide youthful, glowing skin, including Botox and fillers, microneedling, Diamond Glow, hydrofacials, and Morpheus 8. Contact them today for a consultation. Visit MariettaPlasticSurgery.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Right now, select varieties are buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, picture this. 10 of the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design with their entire assortments, not on a website, but right in front of you, ready to see, feel, and try on. And no matter what you choose, you'll get up to $3,000 off in event-only savings or 0% APR financing for 3 years. This weekend, March 21st through 23rd, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
11:50 on the Mark Aram Show. Checking some delays on Atlanta's south side. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Yeah, I've been scanning the jam cam. No crashes on the way through Stockbridge, just the volume. 75 southbound, you're hitting the brakes just before Highway 138, exit 228, but it improves once you get past Hudson Bridge Road, Eagles Landing Parkway. Traveling out of Buckhead into downtown, you got that left lane construction on the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound, and now some traffic lights flashing red right near Piedmont Hospital. This is on Peachtree Road at Brighton Road, right there next to the CVS, so treat that intersection as a four-way stop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Listen, we have a bit of a situation here. There was a leak, and so I had to move the announcement up to today.
Rob Lowe turned 61 today. That was from The West Wing, I believe. I'm not going to say it on the air, but Rob Lowe had an unfortunate incident in Atlanta years ago. You just go ahead and Google that. I am a big Rob Lowe actor fan. I can separate the man from the performer, which is why I still watch every Mel Gibson thing that's ever produced.
Right.
But yeah, Rob Lowe, Outsiders. I'm just a fan. Yes. Oh, by the way, we've come up with, I didn't come up with it, the listeners, instead of saying Indian giver, like we all grew up with, is obviously not good. Two options. You can say you're a de-gifter.
Okay.
Like, why did you de-gift me? Or instead of re-gift. Or Mitch says conditional giver is the new term. Conditional giver.
Okay.
Much more culturally appropriate for what's going on. Speaking of cultural issues, I talked to Longoria earlier in the show about what he's giving up for Lent. With Easter quickly approaching, let's check on the health of the Pope. Ben Wiedemann's in Rome this morning.
Well, we actually haven't heard anything. For the last few days, the Vatican has stopped giving out sort of the morning report, a one-liner on how he slept. So we're not expecting any sort of medical update until tomorrow evening, Rome time. But we saw this photograph, the first photograph of the Pope made public in 31 days since he was admitted to Gemelli Hospital here in Rome. He's now suffering, of course, from double pneumonia. What we have heard is that he is stabilizing, that we've gotten reports from Vatican sources of daily slight improvement in his situation, which they now call stable. Now, this photograph that the Vatican put out, what's interesting is that you do not see the nasal cannula that the Pope has been using to receive supplemental oxygen during the day. You don't see his face, so we don't really have a great idea of his condition, at least visually. But we do see in that photograph, which is taken from his right-hand side with a profile, we see his right hand, and it does appear to be swollen. So clearly he's not out of the woods yet. And John, at this point, we have no idea when, after 32 days, Pope Francis will be able to leave Gemelli Hospital and return to his suite in the Casa Santa Marta in the Vatican City.
Ben Wiedemann in Rome this morning. Easter is April 20th, so a month and 3 days away. Is that that's when you can start drinking Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, that's when we can start
have
eating and doing whatever.
Is that longer than normal?
No, it's about the same time. It's the same time every year. Yeah.
I'm not Catholic. I'm not Christian.
Yeah, it's 40 days.
But I'm giving up something for Lent. I just discovered.
Okay, what?
I'm not doing any NCAA brackets this year.
Okay, yeah.
I'm giving it
up.
up. You know why? It's not. It makes no sense anymore. 20 years ago, when I watched nothing but college basketball, it made sense. I haven't seen a single second of college basketball, and that's a shame because we're the home of the Dogs, and the Dogs are in the tournament. 9th seed, I think, against Gonzaga.
Yeah, I believe they'll be playing this Thursday.
I'm just so Chris Crawford, Johnny Kilbasa. I'm not doing your freaking brackets this year. I'm giving them up for Lent. Right? God would approve of that. Yeah. God would approve. I'm giving those all up for Lent. So stop sending me those things. Anyway, we hope the Pope gets back on time. This is a really sad story. I talked to you, I think, a week or two ago about the Eagle camera out in California. Sad update from that, Deborah Green.
This is sad news for the bird watchers out there. You know, we were monitoring that eagle cam, the one out in Big Bear, California, waiting to see the 3 bald eagles hatch. Well, it looks like one of the eaglets did not make it. California had a snowstorm. They got over 2 feet. And when the snow cleared and the cameras were visible again, one of the eaglets was missing. It's gone. They don't know why that specific bird died because all of the birds are about the same size, but it has been missing. So they're hoping mom and dad eagle, who are named Jackie and Shadow, they're still close by and they're feeding the other 2. And there is going to be a naming contest for the eaglets very soon.
Oh, it's sad. I was watching it during the snowstorm, and the mama eagle was just covered in snow, but sitting on the eaglets below. There's 3 of them. And I think one fell out. I mean, there's high winds. It's just sad. But 2 of the 3 are still with us, but very sad there. Quick update on the tariffs. President Trump on board Air Force One yesterday said the U.S. has taken in billions of dollars in new tariffs so far, but the big money coming April 2nd when additional tariffs on certain items along with reciprocal tariffs go into effect. He added the U.S. would be recovering wealth that he called foolish presidents gave away in the past.
A lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end.
Trump also said he's imposing reciprocal tariffs, something that his predecessors failed to do.
Whatever they're charging, we're charging. Very simple. If they're charging us, we're charging them. It's no longer they charge us, but we don't charge them. It's foolish presidents.
There you go, President Trump. Any tariff news we'll bring it to you live.
Longoria's fact of the day.
Okay, so today is National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day because it's, and so the name corned beef comes from the large, coarse salt crystals or corns used in the dry curing process, which resembles kernels of corn.
Really?
Yeah, that's why we call it corned beef.
How about that? Corned beef or pastrami? Do you have a favorite? I ordered pastrami over the weekend.
You know, I'm going to say this. I don't think I've ever had either one of them.
Do you know what the food is, though, Alex Williams?
Yeah, I know what corned beef is. It's brisket. I've had brisket, but I've never had corned beef.
I ordered, Maya and I ordered barbecue on, I think, Friday night from a place called City Barbecue, and they had pastrami at a barbecue joint.
Really?
Yeah, it was delicious. Delicious. All right, anyway, I'm hankering for it. Hit me up on social medias, at Mark Arum. Let me know where there's a good corned beef and cabbage this morning. I bet they have it at Oak Grove Market. Maybe I'll stop there anyway.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
I brought in St. Patty's Day donuts. I'm getting a star of the show. Jordan from Kiss 104 joined us. She gets a star of the show. Christina Edwards joined us live in studio talking about the severe weather we had this weekend. Eric Erickson gets one. Justice reporter Jake Rosen from CBS News. Longoria, Deborah, Blue. You guys all did fantastic. Am I forgetting anybody? I'm sure I'm forgetting. Oh, Heather brought in chocolate cake for her birthday. So there you go. All the stars of the show. All right, the big story tomorrow, President Trump having a conversation with President Putin. We are going to be all over that story. Plus, whatever top local stories bubble up, we'll be covering them here live. Again, the social media is at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.